Mississippi, she's calling my name. Catfish are jumping, that paddle wheel bumping. Black water keep rolling on past just the same. Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Yeah, keep on shining your light. Gonna make everything.
Those are the Doobie Brothers, a song from the album What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits. And that was a number one. In fact, the first number one for the Doobie Brothers back in 1974. Little song called Blackwater. My choice today, because I think I'm allowed to make a choice on All Request Friday, our water theme edition of All Request Friday. Just our way of letting the folks holding the levers of power in this community that we are paying attention. We know there is a water constraint issue. That's the mildest way to put the problem that we are facing, a water constraint issue. So water is our theme for this All Request Friday. I chose Blackwater by the Doobie Brothers. What song did you choose? Well, we will play those requests throughout the show, as we do every Friday, because it's an All Request Friday on the program. Yes, even on talk radio shows, we find ways to work in your requests because we play bits of music here and there through the show, and we want you to hear some of your favorites under the theme every Friday here on the program. Today's theme is water. Couple minutes past 9 on this Friday morning, the 19th of June. How are you enjoying autumn so far? What in HE double hockey sticks is going on with this ding-dang weather? Somebody ticked off Mother Nature. I think since last November of 2025 is when we caught the ire of Mother Nature. It was November the 9th that we got our first snowfall. I think the snow melted sometime in May. And here we are now going from winter to fall. I don't know what's going on. I was pretty happy last week when we had a nice string of sunny and warm days. And now I have my seat heaters on when I'm coming to work in the morning because, quite frankly, this weather sucks. I'm sorry for the vulgarity this early in the morning, but we can do better than this. I'm positive that we can. We were talking about that quite a bit last evening, the less than ideal weather, as we gathered at Orala Pastries and Provisions on Frederick Street, a Farwell for Hire event. And our thanks to our friends at Orala for hosting us and allowing us to sell those dirty sodas in support of cystic fibrosis research. I didn't know what a dirty soda was. I must admit. Apparently they're a thing these days. And I guess it's something that's to resemble somewhat an alcoholic beverage, but it's non-alcoholic, and it is delicious. Remember, you can still go to Orala for the remainder of the month and order the Filthy Farwell. That is correct. You don't order it every day 9 to 1. You just get it here on the radio, but you can get your own dirty soda drink, the Filthy Farwell, at Orala on Frederick Street, right near East Avenue in Kitchener. And a portion of those sales will be donated to Farwell for Hire in support of cystic fibrosis research. So I had an opportunity last night. I got a quick training session, and then I was the guy behind the soda counter making those drinks, learned how to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, this fundraising campaign has had an extra benefit for me. Not only are we raising awareness about cystic fibrosis and funds for cystic fibrosis research, but I am resume building. I mean, I will have so many other things I can put on my resume when, I don't even want to say if, when the day comes that I'm out looking for work again. And now I can add soda jerk to my resume because I learned how to make those dirty sodas last night. Today, by the way, it's not too late to book your escape. And by that, I mean your KW Escape. KW Escape Rooms is our partner today, and all of the bookings this evening are supporting Farwell for Hire and cystic fibrosis research. So look them up, KW Escape. the KW Escape Room online. Make it a team building and after work event with your friends, coworkers, whatever you want to do. It's a Friday. Great time to spend some time together. I'll be there between 5:30 and 8:30 this evening, and we'll hang out. We'll try to get out of the rooms together. It'll be a great time as KW Escape Room gets behind our Farwell for Hire fundraiser as well. Out of curiosity, do you believe in karma? I wonder about that. And I'm starting to think the answer for me is yes, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But a couple of other things on a slightly more serious note. I was listening to All News Mornings today, as I always do, and I suspect you do as well, with Christine Clark and Josh Piercy this week for Mark Douglas, who's away. But one of the stories they were talking about is something we discussed on the show yesterday, and that is the City of Kitchener's decision to use some of that money, in fact, a lot of that money from the Building Faster Fund grant that we received, for the City of Kitchener received, for exceeding its housing targets last year. $8 million by way of grant from the province. And it doesn't have to be used directly to build more housing. It can also be used for the infrastructure that supports the housing. And in this case, in Kitchener, it is going to be road resurfacing. The City of Kitchener will double its road resurfacing budget next year in an attempt to reduce the number of potholes and the associated complaints about them. And I'm wondering if this gets a Farwell Show bump. I think it should. We first got our Farwell Show bump very early on in our time together on this show. And I should keep track, but it's not the sort of thing that I do, because it's a little bit boastful. But gosh darn it, I think you deserve the credit for the work that you do. As Farwell's force gathers here every day to talk about the issues and to, be a force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with in the most peaceful manner. We bring our issues forward. We talk about them passionately. And apparently, the people holding the levers of power listen. Dave Jaworski was still the mayor of Waterloo when there was this plan to reconfigure Waterloo Park and remove some of the best used baseball diamonds in the park. We pushed back against that plan, and ultimately the city of Waterloo saw the light and realized their plan had some holes in it. We helped to identify those holes, and Waterloo Park and the most used baseball diamonds remained exactly in their place as it should be. There have been a couple of other things I seem to recall along the way, but I don't keep track, and I should. But I'm going to add this one to the list that I will someday forget. Hopefully you'll remember for me. I think we brought the issue forward. I know other media covered it as well, but we were passionate about it. We were leading the way on this, and we got the attention of at least the City of Kitchener. I don't know what Waterloo and Cambridge want to do, but come on with your coming on. Let's patch those potholes. Let's listen to the passionate and proud members of Farwell's force and ensure that indeed our voices are being heard. The other thing, and I mentioned this a moment ago, that we are a respectful but passionate and vocal group of members here with Farwell's force. We want to encourage our leaders to do things the way we think they ought to be done. We want them to listen to our concerns and understand where we're coming from. But on this show, even though we get passionate sometimes, we do it in a respectful way. And I'm feeling it this morning. I really am, because I know a medium like this and a show like this can get us worked up. Some days I'm really worked up too. And it comes, I think, with being as engaged as we are. We want to see things done better. Oftentimes we just want to see them done our way. We don't always get our way. Right? Our way doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way. But I'm a little bit worried about the way things have been going, and we touched on it yesterday. And the Waterloo Region Record has a story that goes into some more detail today about that interruption of a council meeting the other night. And I think this was planned and orchestrated by the protesters. I don't want to take away your right to protest, your opportunity to protest. But what happened at Regional Council when, close to a dozen people came down the stairs from the gallery area where people are watching and listening to a council meeting and walking into the horseshoe area where councillors are sitting, doing the business of our community. I know we're not thrilled these days with the direction of some of the issues, and I get that, but we can't breach that invisible, if you will, barrier. There's no physical barrier keeping us from getting to that horseshoe, but we have to really respect the position between the gallery and where the councillors are sitting, because that was a pretty scary scene. I can only imagine how the councillors felt, and just think of other people sitting in that gallery as they watched this happen and the shouting. Fortunately, it was only shouting, but what if it had been worse? What if it had been worse than that? What if the shouting that happened and the interruption of the meeting the other night is just the first step, and the next step gets even more aggressive? There's legitimate cause for concern here. A few of the regional councillors raised it. I don't doubt that we will see increased security moving forward, which decreases our access to our local democracy. And as I said, I'm feeling all the feels about this morning. My plea to you is, let's continue advocating for change in the areas that we feel as though there needs to be some change. But let's also remember that we ought to do it in a respectful and civil way, because we're starting to cross that line. We really are. And I worry about how much further we will go across it if this isn't nipped in the bud now. So please, let's remember, as frustrating as it is sometimes, as passionate as we are about some issues, let's remember to keep it civil, keep it respectful. We get the opportunity to voice our frustration and our concerns with our votes. By all means, we can do that this October. But interrupting a council meeting, shouting in protest in the area where councillors are doing their work is way, way, way too far over the line. And there wasn't even any physical violence this time. It was just the verbal threats that were yelled. We don't need it. It's not necessary. It's not cool by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a little worried about it this morning. And heaven forbid that our passion on this show spills over into something like that. I would loathe to think that there was any part of what we do here with what happened there. Quickly, let's get to the phones before your Farwell Show 5 this morning. Lorraine is with us. Good morning, Lorraine.
Hi. I'm in an angry mood.
Uh-oh.
Well, when you talked about the water, it reminded me of my neighbors. I'm so fed up with them that they water little dribs and grabs here and there every day, every hour of the day. There's several of them do that. And I don't know why they don't understand or don't even read about the controls that are down. Anyway, that's me. I hope some of those people who do that will hear this.
Lorraine, I appreciate the call and I understand the frustration and I get it. I would hope perhaps that they are using water that they gather in a rain barrel as opposed to, bringing out the sprinkler and watering the lawn that way. There are those restrictions. And there was a good letter to the editor in today's Waterloo Region Record reminding us of some simple conservation efforts we can take on our own or of our own accord. These used to be preached a lot more, as I recall, and there is probably room for us to be reminded of the ways that we can reduce our personal water consumption. And if the lawn gets a little brown or yellow, let's not worry about it too much, okay?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9.
All right, let's get to your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning, the 19th of June, starting at number 1, where we find intense fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, which is threatening to unravel a newly signed deal between Iran and the United States to end the war in the Middle East. Lebanese media reporting at least 18 people were killed in recent strikes, and Israel said 4 soldiers have died. Number 2, a senior economist at Farm Credit Canada says the dairy industry is not geared to keep up with the demand amid a global whey protein shortage, with consumer demand outpacing supply in recent months. Prices have risen sharply. Number 3 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, an Ontario man accused of stealing and leaking Texas Republican Party data has pleaded guilty before a Canadian court. U.S. authorities announced the arrest of a man from Oshawa in April of last year and said the suspect was facing charges under Canadian law. Number 4, a judge here in Ontario expected to deliver today her ruling in the sexual assault trial of billionaire businessman Frank Stronach. 93-year-old Stronach pleaded not guilty. He pleaded not guilty to 12 charges stemming from alleged incidents that took place decades ago involving 7 complainants. And you may remember yesterday on the show, we had the Justice on Trial movement featured. And I think the results of this case will factor into that movement. Are we taking a step forward or another step back? And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, the 59th annual KW Multicultural Festival will take place this weekend in Victoria Park in Kitchener. It runs tomorrow from noon until 8, and then again on Sunday from noon until 6. The Multicultural Festival here in the region is recognized as one of Ontario's top 100 festivals and events, and it was the recipient of the 2026 Festivals and Events Ontario Impact Award. This festival continues to bring our community together through culture, connection, and belonging. This year's festival will feature live cultural performances, community groups sharing traditional foods, local artisans, interactive workshops, family-friendly activities, and a growing market space celebrating the diversity of Waterloo region. This 59th annual KW Multicultural Festival this weekend in Victoria Park. Saturday noon to 8, Sunday noon to 6, and that is your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
Just to put a bow on what we just talked about, the verdict is in with regard to the Frank Stronach trial, and the billionaire businessman has been found guilty of sexual assault and indecent assault. The judge overseeing the case said she couldn't convict the businessman based on the evidence of one of the remaining complainants, whose account she found unreliable, but he faced 5 charges related to 3 complainants, and in a hearing today, Justice Anne Malloy found Stronach guilty on 2 charges related to 2 complainants. So a verdict is in as we wrap up the Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning. Okay, let's get to something that we call the not $1 million question. It's called the not $1 million question because I can't give you $1 million if you know the answer to it. But we will all believe that you are the smartest person in this region should you be able to come up with the answer. And I couldn't resist this one because over the last month or so, I spent an awful lot of time in hotels, traveling around with the Kitchener Rangers through Ontario, into the United States, out to British Columbia. And never did I ever consider keeping this. And by keeping, I think I mean stealing, but whatever. It would be petty theft at best. 40% of us say that we have kept this item from a hotel stay. Now, believe you me, there are things that I have seen in hotel rooms that I wanted to keep. Did I ever keep any? I don't think I have, actually. Anyway, 40% of us admit that we have kept this from a stay in a hotel. What is this thing that 4 in 10 of us have kept from a stay in a hotel? If I've ever thought of keeping something, a.k.a. stealing something from a hotel stay, it's never been this, but you do you, I suppose. 40% of us say we've kept this from our hotel stay. Do you know what it is? You want to take a shot at our not $1 million question today? We'll take your calls and guesses right after this on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Night swimming deserves a quiet night. The photograph on the dashboard, taken years ago, turned around backwards so the windshield shows. Every street light reveals a picture in reverse. Still it's so much clearer. I forgot my shirt at the water's edge.
That is REM, the unmistakable voice of Michael Stipe. Song's called Night Swimming by request from Mike, Farwell's Force member number 10 on this All Request Friday Water Edition. On Fridays, we also ask you the not $1 million question. Today's question is, 40% of us say we have kept this from a hotel stay. What is this item that we have kept from a hotel stay? Let's get to the phones. We'll start with Bill, Farwell's Force member number 360. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Mike.
What's the answer to the not $1 million question?
I'm going to give you a little background. I've been working in a hotel since 1981. The Banff Springs Hotel was the first, and I'm driving to my hotel job right now.
I love it. Okay, so what is the most borrowed, kept, stolen item?
I'm going to give you a twofer. If you're a male, it's the pen. If it's a female, it's the shampoo.
Bill, I love it. And you know I love me some pens, too. I have inadvertently, I promise it was accidental, kept a hotel pen. Shampoo and me, we've had a long-distance relationship for a long time. Good guesses. Neither are correct. But, Banff Springs Hotel. Hook a brother up, would you, Billy? Come on now. John is with us this morning for the not $1 million question. Good morning, John.
Morning.
What do you think? Oh, John, please turn down your radio or whatever's going on in the background there.
I'm sorry, it's in another room.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back on hold. I'm gonna go over here to Dave. John, go to the other room, turn it down, and we'll get back to you. Dave, Farwell's Force member number 47. Good morning.
Good morning, and not guilty to anything stolen or borrowed from a hotel.
Okay, what do you think the rest of us are taking then?
Towels.
Towels. That's a very good guess. I would have guessed that one as well, but not the answer we're looking for. John, you still haven't turned down your radio.
Well, I'm in a wheelchair, so it takes me a while to get
okay. John, I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just me, but that's a little tough to listen to. I'm so sorry, John. Maybe we're going to take more guesses after 9:45, okay? I promise. But we can't have that it's like hearing our show on loop. And I also asked you at the beginning of the show today if you believe in karma, and I promised I would share a story because I'm starting to believe that I do. What I'll do, I'm going to make it our not everyone is a jackwagon story today. It features a couple that you may know, Doug and Grace Moog from our community. They've moved to the shores of Lake Huron because who wouldn't if they could? But they're still active, and they make me believe that karma does indeed exist. So I'll share that story around 10:20 this morning. Do you believe in karma? And Doug and Grace Moog have got me very much believing in karma. That story to come. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
It was as though I'd been spit here, settled into the pocket of a lighthouse on some rocky socket of the coast of France, dear. But afternoon, 4,000 men died in the water here, and 500 more were thrashing madly
little bit of gourd and the tragically hip. It's nautical disaster on this All Request Friday, Water Edition. That is our theme this week. And Sean, Farwell's Force member number 229, wanted to hear some hip. That's how it works on All Request Friday. You make the request, we play it for you. This week's theme is water. I am so excited to have this next conversation, our first of the show today, because we are marking a milestone anniversary at the one and only Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. You have to go back to May the 24th, 1951. So about 75 years and a month ago, when the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium first opened its doors. A 75th anniversary celebration is now officially underway. And Ali Sams, who's the manager at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, joins me in studio to talk about it. Long time no see, Ali. Thanks for stopping by.
It's been a few Fridays, but we're back.
Thanks for being here. I
Thank
call it my second home because obviously part of my work takes me to the Memorial Auditorium, but so many other occasions over 75 years that have taken me and others in this community to that beautiful building. When you hear 75 years of this arena, of this facility in our city, what do you think about?
I think the Odd is definitely a cornerstone to the community. It is a memorial, but it's also a meeting place, a gathering place. It's the home of so many. We are so much more than just a hockey town. There's so many events that have taken place there and that continue to take place. And that's kind of the mandate of our team now is how can we invite more of the community and how can we make it home to more people?
How cool is it, honestly, to be able to go to work there every day? It's got to be pretty neat, doesn't it?
I don't have as many fans. The seats aren't full, but it is I've been there for 15 years now.
Come on.
15 seasons, yeah. So I don't plan on leaving anytime soon.
Nice. I wouldn't blame you for staying as long as you can as well. Okay, let's talk about the 75th anniversary and how we plan to mark this milestone. What is planned?
So today there's going to be some news or some updates being released in the media. So a media release marking what we have planned at the Odd. So we are looking to bring back some legacy events. When I say midway at the Odd, there's a lot of people in the community that remember the COE kind of taking over in the summers. So you will see, we just announced that this week. The Midway's coming back, so that's one exciting piece. Hoping to, strike some memories in the community and kind of bring people back a little historic feeling. We also have some events planned for September. So we're looking to do an open house. So a very, easy way for people to come into the doors, do a couple tours, see what's going on behind the scenes. And then some other pieces that will kind of be announced as we go through the year.
The Midway coming back, I gotta say, that brings back so many memories. I remember fondly the COE. I had one really bad experience with the Gravitron. That wasn't the COE's fault, though. That was my own. I don't do good with those spinny rides. Anyway, how do we get the community involved in this, Ali?
Word of mouth is a big one.
Yeah.
So it was released on socials again this week. So if you can share it, if you can like it, get the word out there, because I know once people realize it's coming back, there'll be some excitement behind it.
When you talk about behind the scenes and that open house opportunity, et cetera, you and I were just chatting about this off the air before we started, about all of the things that go on to keep this building in the shape that it's in. But this is, as much as it's a hockey town and the primary tenant is the Kitchener Rangers, there's so much else that goes on, and the staff is constantly working at and on this arena.
And as much as there is a historic feel to the Odd, I think what makes it special is the continued investment in the building. So one thing I really like to do when I'm giving a tour is to point out all of the different expansions and when they happened. So our most recent one back in 2012, adding the blues, expanding the seats on the one side of the building. And then the current expansion or the renovation, the restaurant, which is planned to be opening soon. Again, more information to come. But that, I think, is the most interesting piece because it kind of takes you through those 75 years of history and what the city, the venue, the staff have done to keep us relevant.
Right. So as we go through this 75th year and mark this milestone anniversary at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, one of my favorite buildings in the whole region, we want to keep bringing you or other folks from the Odd back, Ali, and talk about this with our listeners, get some memories from them, et cetera. But how can we keep up with all of the plans? What would you like people to know about this 75th anniversary?
I think our key dates are events that we are kind of announcing. So we, got the Midway, we've got our home opener of our teams, of the Rangers, of the Titans. Like there will be some engagements and some activations for the community to enjoy that match up with those timelines. So just be involved. You watch the City of Kitchener's socials. All the information will be there. And you are a part of it. You are a part of the community. So, and that's to everyone listening, to everyone who, walks the sidewalks, who lives in the city. Like the Odd belongs to you. So we are offering this space and these events to the community. So just make sure you take advantage of it, be a part of it, and enjoy it.
I love that idea that you are a part of this because over 75 years, I'd be willing to bet the last dollar in my pocket that more than 75% of us, 90 plus maybe, have had some occasion to be at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium for something. It's because it just does so many different things. We were talking about high school graduations of late, right? And at this time of year. So you've got that. You've got, the various shows that go on there. I was out last night for Farwell for Hire, and they were talking about the food and wine show when it was there. So it just does so much more than hockey. I'm sure so many of us have walked through those doors for some reason.
And that's what makes us unique.
Yeah.
We are definitely the Odd is a cornerstone in the community, and we have a value in bringing in, it's not just the large special events, like those are great for the community, but it's also those smaller, community-oriented, locally grown events. We have a Comic-Con event this weekend. We've had local wrestling in the building recently. It's all of those pieces that are really special to us. Okay,
if you go to the website, theodd.ca/75th anniversary, that's 75, the number TH, so theodd.ca/75th anniversary. That's one place to keep up with this. And you mentioned the socials, et cetera. Ali, what's the best place or where's the best place for people to follow?
The City of Kitchener. Okay. All of that information will be coming out from the city directly. Again, the City of Kitchener's Instagram, their Facebook page, and then our own website, theodd.ca. We will be releasing more information and a lot of ways to experience the venue throughout the rest of the year.
As if you and everyone else at the Memorial Auditorium, because sometimes I think we forget about that. It's a building that we go to for entertainment, for enjoyment, et cetera. But there is a team, a small army of staff that keeps this building running, keeps it clean, up to date, et cetera. As if you needed more to do, here we go, launching into these 75th anniversary celebrations.
The staff are dedicated. There's a lot of people, like you mentioned, behind the scenes, and they're passionate. We're a very passionate team, and a lot of people have been at the venue for many, many seasons. So I think there's a lot of excitement to share that with the community.
Yeah, I think the community is going to be really excited about this too. I wonder how many folks really had it sink in that this is 75 years. Like you can look at the cornerstone, but again, we're often going in for other reasons. We've got other things on our minds. 75 years.
75 years of people walking through the doors.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of memories.
Yeah. And for me, the memories are always walking in those doors on East Avenue. I know those, main doors have changed over the years with the various expansions, but I remember walking in under that marquee that used to be out facing East Avenue, and those were the main doors, and the ticket windows were just inside those doors. And
if once we get to the tours, there are little kind of captured moments throughout the building, black and white photos of real time and real events, like that old ticket window. So I hope people do get a chance to come through the venue and experience that kind of walk of history.
Really looking forward to this unrolling over the months ahead leading up to that home opener for the Rangers on September the 18th. Anything else you want to make sure people are aware of as we launch this 75th anniversary celebration?
There's a lot of pride and a lot of passion behind the staff team, so please enjoy what we've got in store for you and make sure to come out and visit us for the midway, for the home openers, and for that open house.
All right. I've mentioned it from time to time. I should probably mention it more because I have the privilege of the hours that I keep around the hockey team and my work there to see this building at various times of the day, be it early on a weekend morning or very late at night / early in the morning, 1 or 2 a.m. And there's always somebody there doing something. Let's not overlook the hard work that's gone into keeping this building as beautiful as it is. Ali, really looking forward to what's to come. And hey, here's the 75 more years at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium.
Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks for being here today. Ali Sams, the manager at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. 75 years. We are beginning the celebrations of that milestone anniversary for the beautiful building that means so much to so many in this community. We'll take a break. Come back with more of your guesses to our not $1 million question today. 40% of us have admitted to taking this from a hotel stay. What is this item that we have taken from our hotel stay? If you want to take a guess, phone lines are open to you on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Do I ever like that one? An excellent choice from both Andrea, Farwell's Force, member number 273, and Frank. They wanted to hear Dirty Water by Rock and Hyde on this All Request Friday, water being your theme, or it's the water edition of All Request Friday. Great selection there. What selections will we get as the show goes on? That's the beauty of an All Request Friday. We'll just keep you listening to hear the next one. Fridays also mean a little bit of fun with our not $1 million question. And today we're asking you what 40% of us have admitted to keeping. And I love that phrasing. Come on, let's be honest. We have stolen it. It was in the hotel room when we got there. It was no longer in the hotel room when we left because we, quote unquote, kept it. What is this thing that 4 in 10 of us have kept from our hotel stay? A bunch of emails on this to mike@570news.com. Mike guesses a nice pen, not the answer we're looking for. Doug says the key card. Now, that would be a fair keeping, right? Kind of like sometimes I have accidentally kept the pen, but you're not stealing it necessarily. You just kind of used it and maybe forgot to give it back. The key card. How many of us actually return those key cards these days to the front desk, right? Clinton via email to mike@570news.com says towels. That was guessed earlier, not the answer. The ice bucket, says Chris, also not the answer. Let's go to the phones and find out if we can get the answer to our not $1 million question there. Kevin is with us. Good morning, Kevin.
Hi, good morning, Mike.
What do you think? 40% of us have kept this from our hotel stay.
I heard that the most stolen item from the hotel is the Bible.
The Bible? Really? Do we need to find salvation in the drawer, the nightstand drawer of a hotel room?
Absolutely. But, well, this is what I heard so many times, that that's the most stolen items from the hotel room. So I thought maybe that's the one.
That's not the answer we're looking for, but that is an excellent guess, Kevin. Thanks for asking.
No problem.
All right. Enjoy your day. You know, speaking of that, I still have And why do I still have the Good News Bible that I received in grade 4 at St. Anne's Elementary School? That Bible has traveled with me through life to this day. So grade 4, what am I, 10 years old? I think 10, 11, whatever. Anyway, so 45 years, the Good News Bible. I can still, it's white with some green on the cover. There you go. How many times have I opened and read it since? Probably not as often as I should have. But do you remember yesterday when I reminded you, I might have told you for the first time that my great aunt was a nun? So I think salvation is assured for me and the rest of the family, right? Because you had a nun in the family. Goodness gracious me. Anyway, not the Bible, but a very good guess. Norma is with us on the phones. Farwell's Force member number 31. Good morning, Norma.
Hey, good Friday morning, Mike. I had 2 guesses, and one of them was the Bible, so I'll go with my second guess.
Okay.
And that was the bathrobe.
The bathrobe. See, this is one, and I've seen this, like, wasn't it, it was Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop. He stole the bathrobes from the nice hotel that he was put up in, but that's not the answer we're looking for.
Yeah, it has to be a swanky motel to have a bathrobe.
Exactly. I don't get to many of those in my travels. Thanks, Norma.
You're welcome.
All right, have a great day. I will also add this as we continue trying to figure out the answer to the not $1 million question. I was quite frankly shocked. I don't know why anybody would want this particular item. So anyway, but we had shampoo, pens, ice buckets, Bibles, bathrobes, towels. Not the answers we're looking for. David, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. I can't remember what number I am, but David H.
David H. Okay, I don't have a sortable spreadsheet. I only write these down by hand, but I'll find you, David H. You're a Farwell's Force member. I trust you. Do you know the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought I had the answer, but I heard it's already been mentioned. Shampoo, soap.
Shampoo or soap, not the answer we're looking for, but a good guess.
Well, that's all I can think of.
All right.
At the moment.
That's okay, David. Sometimes you just can't come up with the answer. And you know, the shampoo and soap, my parents are big supporters of, what do they call it? Canadian Food for Children? Anyway, a charitable organization that my parents do some volunteering for and collecting for to raise funds. They collect these small bars of soap and these small containers of shampoo. My parents figure, hey, if I'm paying for the hotel stay and those things are provided and I can further them into a charitable cause, I will. I think I just outed my parents as soap and shampoo thieves from hotel rooms, but that's the thing that they do. Jason, good morning. Do you know the answer to our not $1 million question?
I think so, Mike. TP.
You know what? That is a very good answer as well. Not the answer we're looking for. Thanks, Jason. We had a coworker formerly who insisted that he always must do that part of his bathroom business at work because it saved him on the costs of TP for his home. True story. He would be the kind of guy that might take the extra roll from the hotel room. The answer to our not $1 million question today, 40% of us admit to keeping this from our hotel stay. What is this? The do not disturb sign. Like, what are you doing with it? Taking it home and putting it on the door so your kids don't bother you? I find that very interesting. What do you need with the do not disturb sign? But that's what 4 in 10 of us admit to taking from our hotel stay. Hey, do you believe in karma? My friends Doug and Grace Moog have made me believe that karma is definitely a thing, but maybe not in the way that you expected. I'll tell that story coming up around 10:20 in our Not Everyone is a Jackwagon segment. Stay with us on the Mike Farwell Show this morning. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
The story goes, but somehow we missed out on the pot of gold, but we'll try best that we can.
bit of Styx, and you guessed it, Come Sail Away. On this All Request Friday, Water edition, Randy is Farwell's Force member number 20, and that's the song that Randy wanted to hear. You may have heard when we were talking recently about the interruption of a non-binary teen during their speech at a Pride event in Cambridge, that Mayor Jan Liggett explained to Sophie Mills when she misused Sophie's pronouns that she's not accustomed to the they, them pronouns, right? Mayor Liggett would be more accustomed to he, him, she, her, like many of us of a certain vintage. And I'm not trying to age Mayor Liggett, but in my conversations with people my age and older, that is something that frequently comes up. It's just difficult to get accustomed to this new way of addressing some folks. And frankly, that's okay. There's a bit of a learning curve. And I've heard some people my age and older say their goal is to unlearn something every day, while others want to learn something new every day. I just bring this up in the context of this still being Pride Month. The month of June is Pride Month, and recognizing that Mayor Liggett in that particular instance is certainly not alone. There is a learning curve for many of us. And that's why I love what they're doing at Dublin Street United Church in Guelph. Colleen Lowry is a congregational minister candidate there and joins us on the show this morning. Colleen, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well.
Glad to hear that. So I kind of shared a little bit of an anecdote to tie into what you're doing at the Dublin Street United Church, which I suppose would be part of these workshops that you're offering. But let's start with the workshops themselves, these opportunities for older adults to learn. What is it that you're doing at Dublin Street United Church?
So you started with actually a really great anecdote
to
introduce exactly the kinds of things that we're trying to help folks with. So we have a workshop coming up. We've kind of labeled it as for grandparents, but as you've stated, it's really for any older adults who want to learn a little bit more about this big thing called the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. So two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, asexual allies, and the rest. It can be challenging to learn a whole new culture, and that's kind of what's happening here. And a lot of folks are finding their grandkids or maybe their kids are coming out and identifying with one of these things, and they really want to be supportive and caring and to understand, but it's a lot of information to take in, and it's really hard to find good information and good sources of information that is clear and simple and correct to learn. And we thought we'd pair with Out on the Shelf and provide that information in a place that maybe feels more familiar for folks. A lot of folks who are a little bit older, they've spent time in churches, and it's not a scary place to be. It's a little bit different than maybe reaching out to a new space to ask questions. We're going to give a space where you can ask questions that might feel kind of normal to be in. And so that was our intention with this workshop.
I love this idea of the familiar space and really also the safe space, if you will, to ask these questions and come with this genuine hope of understanding better, of learning. Because just to go back to the anecdote that I shared, and I'm glad it fits with what we're talking about here. Unfortunately, for Mayor Jan Liggett, it was part of a larger and really less favorable story, shall we say. But many people are dealing with these sorts of things, and it doesn't have to be something that's public or seen in a bad light in any way. It really is just that judgment-free, shall we say, opportunity to learn.
Yes, and one of the things that I talked about with Cass and Shai, who are the folks from Out on the Shelf who are doing the teaching and running this workshop, is having space for anonymous questions. Because sometimes even just like being the person that stands up and asks the awkward question, that's hard. It's hard work to be curious, and it's hard work to be vulnerable in that way. So we want to give people a chance to ask whatever kind of question they may want to ask, and have that be taken in a real positive light and with positive intention, knowing that people are genuinely curious and they genuinely want to support their grandchildren, their children, other young people in their community. And it's not just young people who are queer and trans by any means, but certainly they are folks who maybe already have a better sense of all the terminology and the culture and that sort of thing. So we just want to have that space that feels, safe to have these conversations.
I wonder too, Colleen, how hard the work is to be leading a workshop like this, because I suspect there might be a sense of fatigue with repeating or trying again to get the message across, dealing with all of these nuances. I mean, how do you prepare to present a workshop like this?
That's a fabulous question. It is. It can be difficult to present this kind of information over and over again. It can get fatiguing. I know that Cass and Shai, this is a large part of their work, and they rely a lot on their own supports and connections. And myself, I work with a committee at Dublin. It's an Affirm committee. And so we're able to kind of take turns and rely on each other, but it can feel vulnerable. But the thing is that myself, professionals from Out on the Shelf, we are folks that have chosen to do this kind of work. And even though it's hard, we've made that choice. Our grandkids, youth, young people, they're getting asked these questions all the time. And they're just trying to go out and live their lives with their loved ones. And we want to be able to take the burden off of them for answering those questions, so that we, folks who have a little bit more professional detachment, let's say, can do that educating instead of kids that, just want to go to family dinner.
It's a great idea. The timing couldn't be better, obviously, this being Pride Month. How can folks get involved, take part in this workshop next Wednesday, Colleen?
Just show up at United Church in Guelph. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday the 24th. And just come with an open heart and an open mind. And we'll have opportunities for learning. We have snacks, because snacks are great. And just come prepared to learn something.
The point that you just made about come with an open heart and an open mind, I get the sense from this conversation that we're having and from what I've read prior that we will be met with an open heart and an open mind as well.
That's absolutely correct. Yes, Mike.
I love what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. And I hope Dublin Street United is a full church next Wednesday between 6 and 8 as you offer this workshop. Thanks for doing it, Colleen, and thanks for making time for the show today.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's so great to have been asked to share today.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Colleen Lowry joins us from Dublin Street United Church in Guelph. She is a congregational minister candidate there and shares with us the workshop that's being offered, judgment-free. It's just an opportunity for some 2S LGBTQIA plus education for grandparents, for caregivers, for older adults, because I've talked to folks my age and older, sometimes younger, but I am of a certain vintage these days, and folks that are our age for whom this is all brand new. It can be difficult at times. There is a lot of nuance involved, and I think this is a fantastic opportunity to get some of those questions answered in that non-judgmental way. this, for me, connects to something that we talked about on the show yesterday with the hashtag Justice on Trial in Ontario and the advocacy that is underway for women who are navigating our legal system. I cannot call it a justice system. I think that's a bit of a misnomer, because justice for you is different, or at least the perception of it would be different than my perception of justice. And I don't know that we ever end up with, at the end of a court proceeding, an outcome that we would universally describe as just. So I often refer to it as a court system or a legal system. And it is one of those things. This Justice on Trial movement is in part connected to the recent court ruling where a former neurologist in Kitchener was acquitted on all counts of sexual assault after 48 complainants came forward. Originally, there were more than 70, but 48 were named in the court proceedings, and the former neurologist was found not guilty across the board. I understand that there is a legal process that played out here and an analysis of all of the legalities of what was said and what was claimed and what eventually stuck, which was nothing in terms of the sentence here. Again, acquitted on all charges. And there's a legality that I will never understand. But the basis of it, and I mentioned this yesterday, how frustrated I get. And it's around, and I speak specifically to men here, and all of these cases that we hear about. And sometimes when the charges, do lead to sentencing and conviction. And we have to stop asking the question, in domestic violence cases, for example, why did she stay? Or this whole notion, I think it's a little bit more outdated, and I'm glad that it is, but, she deserved it. She had it coming. She dressed provocatively, whatever the case may be. We have to turn this around and talk about the men who are in some cases predatory here, and where this idea came that we have rights to those other people's bodies. It's something that I really struggle with. It makes me very angry. And I'm similar in this regard in thinking about this workshop being offered. And I hope it's so well attended next Wednesday evening, 6 till 8 at Dublin Street United Church in Guelph, because I get it. And I'm as old, if not older than you. And I understand how strange, difficult, confusing it can be to understand all of the various nuances of the 2S LGBTQ plus community. But I wonder why we get, here we are in the midst of Pride Month, and we just get so lathered up. I find that frustrating. This flag, this crosswalk, this month, this celebration. I don't know why we get ourselves so twisted over the way somebody else would like to live their life. I wish we could just love who you love. Please love who you love. And everybody else should stay the hell out of it. Anyway, I hope the workshop is well attended. Maybe the idea can spread and we can all get a little bit of that judgment-free education, because the judgment-free part is very, very helpful in this regard. All right, we're going to take a time out. When we come back, your daily reminder. And there are many of us who fall into the category of not a jackwagon. A couple in particular with deep roots right here in the region of Waterloo have made me think that karma does exist. Maybe not in the way that you think it does, but it certainly exists. That story coming up on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Tears are in your eyes. I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just
A classic from Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, on this All Request Friday Water Edition, because we're keeping our eyes on the water constraints here. A bunch of our friends from Bruce County wanted to hear that one, Claudette and Margaret and Brian. It is an All Request Friday, and speaking of Bruce County...
Not everyone's a jackwagon. Not every heart is cold. Not every promise made to you is gonna turn to gold and fold. Some people mean it when they say they care. Some folks will show up, actually be there. So don't close the door on every soul you meet. Not everyone's a jackwagon on this street.
I'm not trying to imply that it's only people in Bruce County who are not jackwagons. A lot of people there used to be here. We like to retire to the shores of Lake Huron or other places in and around Bruce County. At least it seems to me from folks that I know, and maybe that's the case when it comes to this story. And I'm feeling a little bit shy and sheepish here, because I feel like it's almost a humble brag, and I don't mean it to be that way. But here's the thing. The question I have for you this morning is whether or not you believe in karma. And a lot of times when we think about that, like, oh, karma, come on, karma. We hope and or expect karma to get the person that deserves something bad, right? But I am a firm believer in karma today because of something good, the whole pay it forward idea. Received an email during this Farwell for Hire month from a couple whose name you may know from this community because they've got roots in Waterloo, Doug and Grace Moog. And they wondered if we could make our way up to Point Clark in Bruce County to do some Farwell for hiring. And fortunately, I had to turn down that particular opportunity because we just get too busy during the month dealing with what's going on in the region of Waterloo and all of the opportunities we get here to raise money for cystic fibrosis research, and had to turn down the opportunity. The reason the opportunity was presented, though, was because I had a recent visit, as I do every year during Farwell for Hire, with my friends Paul and Arlene. Their niece was a woman by the name of Valerie, who had cystic fibrosis. And the love of Valerie's life was a fellow by the name of Paul Lucas, who has since passed. But Paul is the brother of Grace Moog, brother-in-law of Doug. And years ago during the Farwell for Hire campaign, when Paul was unwell and in the hospital, I was asked as part of my Farwell for Hire duties to phone him and have a chat with him whilst in hospital, because not only was Doug a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan like me, but also a passionate Kitchener Rangers fan. So we could talk some sports, and we had a great chat, maybe for 10, 15 minutes. I don't remember how long, but pretty easy, quote unquote, job, right? For me, call Paul, who's unwell, chat with him while he's in the hospital. We had a great chat. And obviously that left an impression. And karma has a way of working its way forward. While I had to turn down Doug and Grace's invitation to join them in Point Clark for Farwell for Hire, they remembered that phone call to their brother and brother-in-law and wanted to make a donation regardless. And yesterday we received a $5,000 donation from Doug and Grace Moog to our Farwell for Hire fund in support of cystic fibrosis research. All I did to earn that was make a phone call to their brother/brother-in-law. Karma. It has a way of working its way forward, too. It doesn't just pay back people who deserve bad things. At least that's what occurs to me. And it reminds me that Doug and Grace Moog are certainly not jackwagons. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
My friends and I took a walk today to a place we've been before. We flipped around like a wind machine till we stopped down by the shore. Someone said, let's go for a walk upon the water. Let's go for a stroll across the sea. First one follow me. my hands as I watch them float away. All singing, let's go for a walk upon the water.
Oh, we are going back, way back into the 1960s for this one. A request from Dave by a band called The Move. It's Walk Upon the Water on this All Request Friday Water Edition. Our next guest, who is in studio with me, said, "Smoke on the Water?" I don't know. You'll have to keep listening to find out if Deep Purple does come up on this All Request Friday Water Edition. And that's just a testament to the fact that you can take the boy out of the radio station, but you can't take the radio out of the boy.
No.
Brian Burke is here.
Yeah, I am.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm great. We were just catching up on old times during the news update.
We've only got like 2 or 3 minutes.
Exactly. That's not nearly enough time.
Probably need at least 2 beers worth of conversation.
At minimum. And
Hey,
of course,
before we start on this, I just wanted to say, because I'm one of the few people on this planet who understand what you go through during your fundraising month. Right? When you kind of put everything else aside and you launch into your fundraising month. I'm one of the few people in the world who can understand that. Because I did spend a little bit of time doing some fundraising. And knowing how overwhelming it gets, so I'd like to point out I was right 7 or 8 years ago when I said, you got to stop them from hiring the monkey. Find another way to be more sustainable, which you've done. It's brilliant.
Well, we're working.
50-50 is awesome.
50-50 is fantastic.
I wish I'd had that back in the day. Oh, my goodness, because when we started, there were only 4 radio stations in town. Right, so that would have been... But so I think you're doing an amazing job, and here's a part of it that I think most people don't understand. Cystic fibrosis is very close to your heart, obviously, and that's why you do this. But for a lot of people, it's a condition they don't know a lot about, they won't run into. So to be able to galvanize the people who listen to you, to give to that I call it an affliction, probably a terrible word to use, but to give to that when they are likely to never have a connection with it, that takes something special.
Well, and the interesting thing is, Brian, I've often referred to it as an invisible disease because you wouldn't know. And those of us who do know, we can spot the telltale cough immediately. It's different. It's just a different cough. We can hear it. But it's interesting because it affects so many. Really, like thousands and thousands of children across this country born with it all the time. And so it's amazing to me of how many people have been quietly dealing with this invisible disease, but get an opportunity like this through Farwell for Hire. And next thing you know, I'm going to buy a 50-50 ticket. Or like Doug and Grace Moog did. I was just telling the story before the 10:30 news, a $5,000 donation they make because they too had a secondary connection to cystic fibrosis. So,
well, but testimony to you in being able to make it relatable, being able to make it important to people, and I'm old school, I go back. That's what you're supposed to do in this job. Not everybody does it anymore. So there you go. Kudos to you from the old poster goat.
I appreciate it from a grizzled goat such as yourself. And brought you here today. I mean, just bring you here to talk on the radio once in a while. It would be fun. It is fun. But specifically to talk about the Ontario Senior Games Association.
Yeah.
District 26 specifically.
Not District 27.
No, sir.
None of that District 44. We won't have that.
And District 9 does not apply here.
Don't even talk to them.
Okay.
District 26 is Waterloo, Wellington, which I will assume you've never heard of.
Until you messaged me, no.
Well, and therein lies the problem.
Exactly.
The Ontario Senior Games Association, plus 55, so you know what qualifies as a senior. Are you in yet?
I was just going to say, you're qualifying me as of later this year.
Yeah. All right, good. The organization's been around for decades. Actually spreads right across the province. It provides competition in both athletic activities and non-athletic activities. So you could play cribbage or euchre, those kinds of things. You could compete at a provincial level, maybe even a national level. And it keeps you active. Sports range from golf, of course.
Of course.
The greatest sport of all time.
It's probably how you found your way into this. I was at the golf course. See?
I did,
how did I know that? Yeah.
That's a quick story. There was a qualifying tournament up in Mitchell for the Canada Summer Games. And I was in my age group, which I believe at the time was plus 65, just barely. It was in August of the year that I turned 65, which is in August. And I actually won my age division. Shot a 78, decent score, and qualified for the Canada Games, which then later got canceled. But here's the best part of it. They gave me a medal.
I love it.
I know. It stays in my golf bag. And every now and then, we take that baby out. Do you know who you're playing here?
That's fantastic.
Met some really interesting people. And then a few months ago, approached me and said, would you be interested in helping out by joining the board? I've got a little bit of marketing and communications experience. And I think people should know about this. Whether you are a senior, who's looking for, something to do, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Or if you're maybe a kid. Look, I got kids who are in their 40s. They're looking for things for mom and dad to do. If you're in that boat as well, this is a great organization. Like I said, euchre, lawn bowling, darts, pickleball, of course.
Of course.
And we have to stay on the pickleball thing because the young kids are starting to get in on it, and they're going to ruin it for everybody. Tennis, badminton. We have badmintonians.
I'll go with it. Absolutely.
Badmintonians in this region, in District 26, who are in their 80s.
No.
And still playing, yes.
I love it.
I know. It's really, I've learned so much in the last little while about a lot of people who are giving a lot of time. You don't have to be an Olympic level athlete. You just have to enjoy what you do and want to meet new people. And that's another part of it for people who are of my age. You lose touch when you leave the office. You really do. And you maybe don't see people that you used to see all the time. And, family's great, but I get tired of them. So let's go meet some new people and people who have your interests. Maybe you're a big deal in euchre. Go see how big deal you are. So easiest thing to do is to just go to our website. That's OSGA. Just Google that. You'll find it. And you can join up now. I will caution you, there's a membership fee. It's $15.
A whole $15?
It's $15 that gets you all the information you need about the senior games. The District 26 Waterloo Wellington, been around for a while. Maybe hasn't been quite as active as it would like to be. That's changing. So we're going to have an event in August, which will be kind of a get together. Come and meet the board, meet the other members, and I think we're going to incorporate cornhole into it.
Another must-have, along with pickleball,
which I'll have to talk to you about because I know you had a guy on here locally into cornhole.
I'll get in touch with Dougie.
And I need Dougie to help me out.
Dougie will help you out.
So we can have ourselves a little cornhole competition. Meet people in the OSGA 55+. And look, it's fun. I had a great time playing golf that day. And against guys I'd never met before.
You mentioned, Brian, that this runs the gamut, right? Yep. From card games, cribbage, to hockey, golf, badminton, etc. And you talked about competition. Can I flip the cribbage board, Brian Burke?
In anger?
In anger. And I'm a competitive guy. Okay, you know this about me.
I get that. I used to get very angry at things, but I don't. I have adopted the gentleman's way to play golf.
Good job.
Don't throw clubs. I don't say terrible things to the ball because I just don't think that's motivational. But if you want to flip a crib board, have at it. Did you learn crib from your parents?
Actually, I must confess, because you didn't mention Monopoly, so I had to go with something else I knew how to board. I've never played. I don't know how. I should know how. My parents play. I should have learned by now.
So my parents came over from Ireland. My dad died 50 years ago. And he taught us to play as a way for us to learn counting.
Really?
Well, because cribbage is very much numbers based.
Sure.
Right? 15-2, 15-4, 2 or 5. That. You've got to learn all that stuff. And so that was one of the reasons why he taught us to play. Funny, when I went to high school, all the rage was kids playing euchre. I had never played euchre. I didn't learn how to play euchre until I was in my probably late 20s.
And it was high school for me in the cafeteria at St. Jerome's. Absolutely. Where my euchre love was cemented.
Everybody played it, right? Yeah. So, but I came across from BC, and when I was a kid, and euchre was not a thing in my house, which was based on the British Isles. My parents came from Ireland. So learned crib, but never learned euchre.
Here's the thing. That I mean, there are dual benefits here, and you've alluded to them. First of all, on the more athletic side, right, there's the physical activity.
Sure.
But even the social aspect of this, Brian, as you mentioned, when you leave the office, you start to lose touch. These things are critical for our overall well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, every night, this is because I'm such a nerd. Every night I watch Jeopardy, right? Every night, and I keep track of how many questions I get right, which drives my wife nuts. quick aside, she has no idea why I know so much about the Bible. I don't know why I know so much about that either. But I keep track every night. I like to think that keeps my mind a little bit more sharp. So, so to your point, yeah, doesn't matter what you're doing. An athletic benefit, a physical benefit, the social benefit, I think, is really, really, really overlooked. The opportunity to meet people who have a similar interest, and then of course the mental part of it, the psychological part of it, the chance to continue to exercise the brain as we get a little older. Because I do believe rot sets in. I'm not sure you can prevent it all, but I know using it makes a difference.
Agreed completely. So if we just Google OSGA, Ontario Senior Games Association, we're going to find our way and watch for this event coming up in August.
We are on the way to creating some social media. So we'll get on to that kind of things I'm on to. But that's it. But OSGA, Ontario Senior Games Association, you'll find the main site, which is based out of Barrie. You can join there for your $15, and then you'll get onto the mailing list here. And you will find out about the fantastic things we're doing. June 23rd, we're having a golf tournament. It's sold out. I can't even get in. What the hell?
I learn something new every day on the show. I've often said it, and this is a brand new one to me. Thanks for making us aware, and I hope people are signing up immediately.
Yeah, it would be great to have you. We need volunteers, people who have a passion. If maybe you're a huge darts guy and you want to start a darts event under the auspices of the Ontario Senior Games Association, you can do that.
And because this is 55 plus, those damn millennials, Brian, you said we don't have to worry about them.
Get them out of here.
Brian Burke joins us in studio. He's the president now of the OSGA District 26. Forget 27, 25, and District 9, no way. It's District 26. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, anytime, man.
It's the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Staring at a sun that she just can't touch. If at any time he's in a jam, she'll be by his side. But he doesn't realize he hurts her so much. But all the praying just ain't helping at all. 'Cause he can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. So it goes out and he makes his money the best way he knows how. Another body laying cold in the gutter. Listen to me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the
A little bit of TLC and waterfalls on this All Request Friday Water Edition. Both Craig and Sandy wanted to hear that one. Well, the Kitchener Panthers got off the schneid, as you might say, broke a losing streak. And when they break a losing streak, holy Hannah, do the Kitchener Panthers break a losing streak. Shanif Harani is the general manager of the Kitchener Panthers Baseball Club, joins us for a chat here on the show. Shanif, good morning.
Morning, Mike.
23 runs you scored last night. Were you saving them all during the losing streak? Like, what the heck?
I know. That's what it seemed like, but it's a great way to break out of it.
The Blue Jays were beating the Boston Red Sox. You guys beat the Brantford Red Sox. How did it feel to finally get out of that skid, Shanif?
It was great. We had a great day, or a great week of practice leading up to it. Even yesterday morning, we had guys coming in early to get some extra swings, and they knew what they needed to do to turn the tide, and it looks like it worked.
Maybe it also helped that you had some adorable fans at the game last night. It was Bark at the Park, just another one of these initiatives that you are engaged in to keep the community invested in this club.
It was awesome. We had the Humane Society on site with us. They were doing a great job showing us support. We were giving out dog bandanas to everyone that came by with their pet, and it was just a great day to have them out, and we were glad we were able to get a win in front of our extra fans that were there that day.
Exactly. 2 legs, 4 legs. They were all at Jack Couch for this one. Also, in the week since you and I have chatted, Shanif, a signing for the club, a bit of a Swiss Army knife joining your team.
Yes, yeah, we're really excited about Noah Boughton, who's coming to us from. He's actually played at a few different schools in the U.S., but played at a really high level. His versatility is what attracted us to him. So we're excited to be able to kind of deploy him wherever we need, whether that's behind the plate, in the infield, in the outfield. He just gives us a lot of options.
A guy like that really can mean an awful lot to a team when you have those options to move him around to whatever place might be in greatest need that particular night.
Yeah. It gives our coaching staff a ton of flexibility. If there's someone that's struggling, we can plug Noah into different spots. Or if he comes in and he starts swinging the bat right away, he gives us a lot of places that we can put him into the lineup.
The Barrie Baycats continue to set the pace, but you've got the signing of Boughton. You've got the big win last night over Brantford. How do you view the team at this 15-game mark of the season, Shanif?
I mean, clearly it's been an up and down start to the year, but I really do think that we're right there. Offensively, we've been doing great. Our pitchers have been starting to turn a corner, so if we can just keep that consistency on the mound, I feel good. And we've played Barrie well. We've only played them once this year, but it was a great game against them, and I like how we feel, at least going into the weekend.
On the road tonight in London, kind of starting the weekend, and then home on Sunday against those aforementioned Barrie Baycats. And it's a special day at the ballpark. Father's Day at Jack Couch on Sunday.
It is, yeah. Nothing like Father's Day. I think I've spent probably the last 20 Father's Days at the field with my dad, so it'll be another great day to do that. And also, if anyone wants to bring their gloves to the game, after the game we'll have an opportunity for you to go on the field and play a game of catch with your dad as well. And I do want to mention it's also going to be Farwell for Hire Day at the ballpark, which we're excited about. So looking forward to having you there and continuing to spread awareness and get the message out there.
I'm super excited to be there as well. We haven't been since the home opener, and that's our fault, but it's a great way to spend a day. And I love that idea of having a catch with Dad on the field. It makes me think to Field of Dreams. I'm sure you've seen it, Shanif. And every time I hear that, I don't care how many times I've seen the movie, I get a little choked up. Hey, Dad, do you want to have a catch?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. It's always a good time to have a game of catch with your dad. So I know we're going to have some of our players' dads that are going to be at the game as well. We have Sean Farwell on the PA and Lucas Farwell as our in-game host. So we'll have another father-son duo there. And anyone else that wants to bring their dad out, it's going to be a great time.
Great way to spend a Father's Day afternoon at the ballpark watching the Kitchener Panthers. Tonight on the road in London, as we mentioned. Shanif, always appreciate your time on the show. Keep those winning ways going tonight against the Majors.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I will see you on Sunday.
I look forward to it. Take care.
Thanks.
Shanif Hirani is the general manager of the Kitchener Panthers. They got off the schneid in a big way last night. How about a 23-run outburst, snapping a 6-game skid, 23-14. The Panthers over the Brantford Red Sox tonight on the road in London to take on the London Majors. And then, as you heard Shanif say, Sunday, Father's Day at the ballpark. And thanks to our friends at Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment, the Hiranis and the Schoolies. Those are the families behind it, Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment. And on Sunday, if you come to the Kitchener Panthers game, please join us. $5 from every ticket sold is being donated to Farwell for Hire in support of cystic fibrosis research. The 50-50 raffle proceeds will be coming Farwell for Hire's way. So you get the benefit of a beautiful day at the ballpark watching some Canadian Baseball League action right here in your own backyard as the Panthers take on the Barrie Baycats, and we get to make some money for cystic fibrosis research. So yes, my beloved and I will be there. We would love to see you there. And the more tickets we buy, the more money that comes into cystic fibrosis research through Farwell for Hire. So let's make it a Sunday afternoon with Dad at the ballpark as the Panthers take on the Barrie Baycats. An update on the way from the 570 News Center, and then a discussion of this week's big stories with our Friday 4 Roundtable begins next. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Is what you're really there for? Summer house fears. Now I speak into an answer phone like every falling leaf on the breeze. Winter wouldn't leave it alone. If you go,
That is U2 and Every Breaking Wave on this All Request Friday Water edition. Kirk wanted to hear that one. He is Farwell's Force member number 3.14. I'll let you figure out the rest. He's a pie kind of guy, that Kirk is. Fridays also mean a discussion of the big stories of the week with our Friday 4 round table. And joining us around the virtual table this morning, we have Julie Callflesh, who's the Director of Fundraising and Communications for Sanguine Health Centre. Julie, good morning. Oh, I didn't hear Julie. Julie, are you with us? Okay. Devin, are you hearing Julie? Let's see if Tom Galloway is with us as well, a retired regional councillor. Good morning, Tom. Oh, we're missing a switch over here somewhere, because we're not getting the audio from our guests this morning, Dev. Janice Jim is with us as well, Vice President of Cycle Waterloo Region. But I think Devin is working feverishly here to figure out where we are missing the audio channel for our roundtable guests this morning. Yeah, we see lips moving, but no sound coming through. Devin, what do you, maybe we'll take a quick commercial break early and then maybe get this sorted? How do you feel? I'm getting the thumbs up from Devin on that. Okay. To our guests, I got into this thing late too because my computer was giving me a problem. So Julie Callflesh, Tom Galloway, Janice Jim, hang in there with us. We'll take a quick time out early here, get the audio sorted, and come back and begin our roundtable discussions this morning on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. You know, in the radio business, the live radio business, there is nothing a 2.5-minute commercial break can't fix. And Devin Robertson has put everything together and got us ready. We have said our good mornings to Julie Callflesh, Tom Galloway, and Janice Jim. And we'll dive right into the conversations now because there are many to have, beginning with the idea of safe tenting zones in the region as a response to homelessness. Advocates packed regional council earlier this week to ask for said zones to be created. Council is not doing that at this point, but we'll begin with Julie Callflesh on this one. And thank you for your patience, Julie. What do you think? Is it time we created these safe tenting zones in the region?
Can you hear me okay?
I certainly can. Well, I had all that faith in the world in Devin.
Okay. I think I need a full hour with you to talk about this, Mike, because there's a lot to unpack. And I work in for an agency that supports folks who are homeless. So, but I also previously worked for municipalities. So I kind of understand both sides. And what I want to start with, talking about the numbers in Waterloo Region. We have 2,300 people who are homeless. We have about 500 shelter beds. We have, on any given night, if people are able to find a place to crash or, someone's couch to sleep on, still about 1,000 people a night who are sleeping outdoors. And that isn't just a Waterloo problem. There's 85,000 people who are homeless in Ontario. So it's a much bigger problem. But here in Waterloo, we simply don't have places for people to go. And as much as, even agencies like Sanguine, which are often we're kind of seen as being, rebellious on the fringe. We're not, but we also, well, maybe we are, but we recognize that there's no other options. This is a last resort, and that's how people are referring to it, as a last resort. So yes, we do need to put safe tenting in place, because if we have places for folks where they know they won't be disrupted and their stuff won't be moved or destroyed or thrown out, we can have service providers like folks that work at Sanguine, at the House of Friendship, at Working Center, all the great agencies in town, going in, trying to connect people with services, trying to get people help that they need so that they don't stay in an encampment. While the folks who are the decision makers are able to work on the broader solutions. I think that we have more people falling into homelessness than we have exiting right now. And that comes down to an affordability situation. And, when you look at the housing lists in Waterloo Region, it's an 8 to 10 year wait. When you look at what someone makes on income assistance, it's about $750 to $1,400 a month. and yet market rent is about $1,700 a month, not to mention groceries, not to mention all the other. So I think we have such big problems that are not just to be on the shoulders of the municipality. Hopefully Tom can talk a bit about that as well, because the province has a responsibility in this. But right now we don't have any other options, and we can't keep just displacing people. Whether they stay at 100 Vic, and I know that that's the flashpoint right now that everyone's talking about, the region has options. They could move them to a different spot, so as to not hold up whatever is needed on that site. I think we do need a safe tenting protocol right now so that we're not turning people's lives upside down more than they already are, every couple of months, because we need to build something or put something on that site. Let's keep people safe. We owe them that. We owe them a lot more, but we at least owe them that.
Okay, let's move it over to Tom Galloway, the former regional councillor, who would obviously share some similar perspective from the municipal side of things. Tom, what do you think of the idea of safe tenting zones?
Well, first of all, let me say that I don't necessarily disagree with anything that Julie has said, because it's just fact what Julie has said. This is a symptomatic of a much bigger problem. And tenting is not the solution. Some kind of normal housing is the solution. And how do you get to that? And, the region struggles with this file, but yet it's really a provincial file that the region provides service for. And, property taxes were never meant for this kind of a service. It's to be funded through income and sales taxes, consumption taxes. So it's such a dilemma. And while I'm not around the horseshoe anymore, it's a real struggle to start putting more and more property tax into a program that the province and the feds, for that matter, should be supporting. But getting back to the actual question on tenting, I do think that, as a stopgap, temporary, hopefully temporary, so was income tax temporary, so were food banks temporary. When they first started, and I just can see these kinds of housing options becoming permanent, and that's a real crime. Now, there's one other thing I want to say, and this is not to detract from the real need for this, but there are people also taking advantage of these encampments. In Toronto, they did a study, and up to 20% of the people that were using encampments were university students. Using those facilities to avoid paying a rent. I mean, there was an individual who was living at 100 Vic, who had a full-time job at Linamar in Guelph. Again, just avoiding having to pay rent. So those are obviously the exceptions, and I don't know how you vet those kinds of situations from the overall equation. But on a temporary basis, and hopefully temporary. And with the province and the feds taking their responsibilities much more seriously than they do, I would, say we need to provide a tenting option.
Janice, what is your take on the idea of safe tenting spaces in the region?
I think it's disappointing that the region and the provincial government are fighting another lawsuit on this. How much money have they wasted on the lawsuits instead of actually solving the problem? I don't want my tax dollars being spent that way. I just totally disagree with that. But, it's a multi-level problem, like everyone has already mentioned. And the province is not doing their job, and the federal government's not doing their job. And now it's been offloaded into the region. And I think every city is dealing with this crisis. It's a cost of living crisis, it's a housing crisis. And now that the government also closed the safe consumption sites, it makes the problem even worse. We need a safe tenting site. One proposal that was around was that using the Charles Street terminal, because it's been sitting vacant for I don't know how many years now, that could have been turned into a temporary solution ages ago. So, that the province and the region are dragging their feet again with another lawsuit. I think they need to do something and just stop fighting it in the courts, because people are not going to go away. Like this is a permanent problem for now, and they need to think about how to help it along instead of fighting it in court.
You mentioned the former Charles Street bus terminal, Janice, and I just got an email to that end this morning. And you used the word temporary, which I think is important because my response to Peter was his name, who sent me the email, is the land has been declared surplus now. It's out for tender to at least be the development of it. So even if, and you're right, we could have used these years that we've been at 100 or at the corner of Victoria and Weber, but eventually folks would be moved out of the bus terminal, the former bus terminal too, because it's slated for development. So we don't have anything in the way, to go back to Tom's point, of anything in the way of permanence here with the solutions we're working on. And I personally find that on the frustrating side. Maybe this ties into one of the other things. I think it does tie into one of the other things that we wanted to talk about today. And since we already took our first break, we'll shift into that. And Julie, I'll start with you on, the trillionaire amongst us. I mean, he's not right here, but he's out there, and the world has its first. Elon Musk, the trillionaire. What do you think of the first trillionaire in the world?
Oh, I'm just so excited for him. I'm just kidding. Complete opposite. I think that it's just it all ties into what we just talked about. We have an affordability crisis. So when someone earns $1 trillion, they haven't earned that at all. They have, earned it on the backs of other people that they have not paid fairly, that they have not, that they've taken advantage of. Like there's nobody that can work that much harder than the next person to make $1 trillion. So yes, he's invested and he has, done all these wonderful things with his money. And I think he had, inherited wealth and stuff. It's nonsense. It's hoarding of wealth. There's no way for anyone to spend $1 trillion unless he buys a country or something, I suppose. But, it's just, it's really gross because we could be helping people with that kind of money. More money going into social services. We need better taxing of the wealthy so that there are better social supports for everyone. The healthier everyone is, the more the communities thrive, the more money that is generated. It's better for everyone. So yeah, I have a real problem with billionaires and trillionaires. I think that they should not exist.
I feel as though we could safely say that Elon Musk has won capitalism with the trillionaire status. That is 1,000 billions. 1,000 billions. It's an awful lot of billions. Tom Galloway.
Well,
sorry,
can I
Julie.
just say one more thing?
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely.
When you say that he won capitalism, that's what I'm worried about. Who else is now going to try to be a trillionaire? Like we can't do this. This is not sustainable. So let's get over it. Everyone take their balls home and let's take care of some people.
Yeah. Take those balls and go home or redistribute them amongst some others. Tom Galloway, your thoughts on the world's first trillionaire?
Obscene. It's just simply obscene. And all the credit to him, of course, for being able to do that. But no one should ever be able to accumulate that kind of wealth. And I don't know where the cutoff should be at how many $1 billion or $1 million that someone should be allowed to accumulate. I don't know how you would govern that. A lot of it is wealth on paper, of course, but it is saleable. We see it in the United States, particularly the dominance of the billionaire class on governance. They have corrupted the governance system in the United States. Who gets to sit in the front row of Trump's inauguration? But the billionaires. They have a direct line. There's been all kinds of examples of policy that has been influenced by them to accumulate more wealth. And as we know, I think the saying goes that money just corrupts and power and gives power, and power absolutely corrupts. And over the centuries, we've seen examples of that, but not in the trillionaire class. And then you hear that many of these billionaires and trillionaires pay almost no tax because of all the loopholes and so on. It creates extreme inequality, and that's just such an understatement. They completely dominate the market. they have such tremendous political influence to enrich themselves. And there's huge fairness concerns in terms of equality. Now, on the positive side, some people might say, well, they create value and they do create jobs for people, but that's not to say those jobs couldn't be created by someone else who wouldn't be a trillionaire. If there's a market for something, the market's going to find somebody to provide for it. Some people might say that it incents innovation. Well, certainly to some extent, money incents innovation. But I have to believe once you get past $1 billion, I'm not sure there's much incentive left. So a trillionaire is just obscene.
I remember a time I said that no hockey player was worth $1 million. And I know I'm kind of doing apples to grapefruits here, but $1 million a season for a hockey player. And obscene's not a bad word for 1,000 billions. And the point around the undue influence, particularly in the United States, forgive me, I'm not sure if he's a billionaire, but the owner of the Ambassador Bridge coincidentally made a $1 million donation to a Donald Trump supported initiative and all of a sudden the Gordie Howe Bridge isn't opening yet. So there's definitely power being wielded by that wealth in the United States for sure. Janice, what do you think of our world's first trillionaire?
Yeah, I agree with my panelists. Disgusting. Wealth tax, corporate taxes, close the loopholes, windfall tax. We need to, claim our rightful share back that to go to government services. There's a couple of things here. What Elon Musk has done with the Trump administration is disgusting. He's actually directly responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths because his ill-fated Doge program shut down U.S. aid, which is now, the impacts are being studied now. There's a Harvard medical school study that is trying to calculate how many deaths that caused. And the U.S. aid was like just a shoestring program that was holding on, for the third world. I mean, that's not the right term for the developing countries. And now all these disease outbreaks can be directly traced to the cut of that funding. And it was a bare minimum program funding nutrition programs for babies, funding lots of different vaccine programs. And now all that's been dismantled really quickly, with Elon's push. So it's just really obscene. So that wealth, it comes from killing people, and his corporation exploiting people and exploiting the top levels of government. And Trump allowed this to happen. But I think we as a society has allowed this because we let the corporations get out of control. And now everything we own is getting privatized. Coming next is data centers. They're coming for our water supply. And we're a little bit powerless to stop it because we gave corporations the same rights as people in a lot of our court systems. And it's time for us to push back. Some good news is that Hamilton had a really recent activation, and they stopped the data center that's being proposed. The fight's still on, but they got their city council to vote for a moratorium on data centers. So we have to, stand up because our resources are the next thing that's the corporations are coming after.
We are beginning to see the consequences in real time. Janice, Jim, Julie Callflesh, Tom Galloway with us on our Friday 4 roundtable this morning. We still have the end of an era for hockey night in Canada and young people, really young people being involved in really serious crimes. Those conversations coming up with our Friday 4 roundtable this morning on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Like a star that can wait for a night. I hate to think I've been blinded, baby. What can I see tonight?
It's a classic from Zeppelin, Fool in the Rain, by request from Denna, Farwell's Force member number 5 on this All Request Friday Water edition. Our Friday 4 roundtable this morning features Tom Galloway, a retired regional councillor, Janice Jim, who's the vice president of Cycle Waterloo Region, and Julie Callflesh, who's the director of fundraising and communications for Sanguine Health Centre. Tom, I think this is perfect that you end up with first crack at this one, just as the rotation goes, because I know of your long-standing work with our former Crime Prevention Council. But the question I'm asking, in light of a 12 and 13-year-old arrested in Guelph and charged with robbery of another 12-year-old, and far more seriously, how about a 12-year-old charged with attempted murder in Toronto for allegedly being the child at the wheel of a stolen vehicle at 1:30 in the morning that allegedly ran down a Toronto police officer, and the other occupants of that car allegedly driven by a 12-year-old, another 12-year-old, and a 13-year-old. The question, Tom Galloway, I'll start with you. What's wrong with our kids?
Well, thanks for this one. You knew I was going to tee off on this one and then get up on my soapbox about crime prevention. I mean, it's totally unfortunate that youth that young would be involved in that level of activity, but it didn't happen overnight. There were failures along the way for that person, that child, to get to the point where they were. And, you know, recently I was just aghast at our provincial government advertising. You know, they were so proud of new prisons that they were building, and New prisons don't solve the problem of a 12-year-old. The failure has already occurred somewhere else along the line. And if we as a society could only start redirecting some of the funds that go into the criminal the criminal system, the police, the courts, and corrections, if we could just redirect 5% of the money that we spend on those things, we know the evidence is clear that we can prevent people from getting into trouble in the first place. We had a program in Waterloo Region called InReach. Some of you might remember Rohan Thompson, who operated that program. We had seed money from the federal government for that program, and it was really effective, proven to be effective. We had seed money for, I forget how many years, 2 or 3 years, and then the funding simply got cut because there's no photo opportunity in those kinds of programming. Unlike when you hire more police, or you open a new courthouse, or you open a new prison, there's no photo opportunity for the politicians. And so getting money for upstream activities to prevent people, support people from getting into crime in the first place, that's where the real benefit is. But we just don't seem to get there, and every year we have to deal with the police budget, and now we're building new and better prisons apparently. So more money into the criminal justice system, just not enough money into prevention. It's clear the evidence is so empirical, so obvious. For every dollar you spend on crime prevention, on upstream activities, you save $7 on downstream activities, which is the police, your courts, and your corrections. And someday, I hope in my lifetime, that's going to become a priority with our federal and provincial governments.
I remember the InReach program well, and it was absolutely a success. I might even say a resounding success. Maybe we could get those politicians to some photo ops with the young people who are involved in that program, and could have some great shots of them participating in some of the activities that are part of it. But my concern, Tom, when you talk about upstream, is that we have now not a stream, but a pool, maybe even a lake at this point, and there's more and more. It might require more than 5% of what's being spent elsewhere to really get, because in fairness, when I asked this question on the show earlier this week, what's wrong with our kids, I also, in fairness, asked, where have we gone wrong? Where have we failed them? And I think those failures are getting into a deeper and deeper pool. But Janice, I'll swing it over to you for your thoughts on what we're seeing with really young people being involved in pretty serious crimes here.
Yeah, I agree with Tom that the funding is not in the right place. I think more community programming and encouraging kids to stay in school, right? It's like an old school slogan, be cool, stay in school. But that's the truth, right? Why are these youth out committing crimes because something has failed them. It's either their families or the community is not providing enough supports, and also availability of guns and I think the internet, because some of the groups are recruiting kids through the internet and chat groups. So I think it's a combination of everything, and maybe it's a wake-up call that we need to do more and direct the funding where it is. Violence usually spikes in the summer, gun violence and youth violence spikes, and this is the time, for communities to step up and just do more, right? And we need the province to step up and put the funding where it needs to be. Like Tom said, the more money you spend on community programming, the less problems you have down the line.
On the point of recruiting, Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkew this week was advocating for the feds to move forward with legislation that created the standalone offense where people could be held accountable for recruiting young people to carry out crimes. Julie, what are your thoughts on this?
I love what Janice and Tom said, and I think that the only thing I'll add is that funding into our schools so that there's better supports in the schools and teachers aren't being required to deal with such complex mental health and behavioral issues. It's too much for them. And, yes, the programming is very important. The prevention is very important, and being able to identify these things early and support kids more in a more fulsome way is also needed. Our teachers need support more than they ever have. They're dealing with things that they didn't train for or sign up for, and it's really, it's really setting our children up for these types of things, which is very unfortunate. And, like Tom said, anytime you put things into upstream, it's not as exciting. It takes years to see the results. And so the political will isn't always there. Especially when you're on these 4-year cycles and you may never be at that photo op. So I think that we need people that are in positions of power who aren't motivated by that. And, there's a lot of them out there who aren't, and there's a lot who are. So we need to choose carefully when we have opportunities to vote for these folks because, we need to get upstream and help people before they're in these very tragic and unfortunate situations that just changed a whole bunch of people's lives in one moment.
Tom, if I can just swing it back to you quickly because of your experience through the Crime Prevention Council and the soapbox you were on before. InReach is one program you mentioned that I know reached out to and gave opportunities to youth. And I'm just thinking about how deep this pool has gotten in terms of Julie references schools and the education system and taking some of those pressures off teachers. I think families need supports as well. And sometimes when we talk about these investments and preventing future crime, it almost sounds a little science fiction. So how do we ensure that it's not, a movie like Minority Report where we're preventing crimes before they happen? What other evidence can you point to or programs can you point to that show there's demonstrable success here?
Just read the book by Erwin Waller, Less Law, More Order, I think that's the title of it. It's a summary of a whole bunch of case studies where really scientific case studies, mostly in the States. Erwin's a Canadian at the University of Ottawa, but he was commissioned to write this book by the American Crime Prevention Association. And there's just one study after another that shows that an investment in crime prevention as young as babies, as young as supporting parents in difficult neighborhoods. The rate of crime for those children at the age of 15 was half the rate of crime for the group that was not supported. And this starts when the child is actually a baby, providing some supports to parents in the schools. Just a whole. I read that book with such interest, and Irwin, and I've met Irwin, and I've traveled with him, and there's just absolutely no doubt that that investing in crime prevention, in development programs, community programs, and when I left the regional council, my last thing I did was set up the upstream fund, $2 million. I proposed it. It's kind of got changed a little bit from what I intended, but nonetheless, the money is still there and going to good cause. It was an attempt at trying to start a fund. The hope was that it would stay, it would get increased at the same rate that the police budget gets increased every year. And I'm not anti-police, but and they're very, very necessary. But we could actually have fewer of them if we didn't have as much crime, and they would probably admit that too. But we just can't get there. But there's all kinds of case studies in Irwin's book, which, by the way, you might remember you had a panel on one evening at Bingaman Park, and I was on that panel, and you were the moderator, and it was on Irwin's book. So I would encourage anybody who's interested in this a little bit more to get a copy of his book.
Yeah, I do have that copy thanks to that evening. Less law, more order. I've read it as well, and it was excellent. Just goes to show how many conversations you and I have had over the years, Tom Galloway. Janice Jim is with us as well, and Julie Callflesh on our Friday 4 roundtable this morning. When we come back, it's the end of an era for Hockey Night in Canada. We'll get our panel's feelings on that next on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
All day I face the barren waste without the taste of water, cool water. Old Dan and I with throats burned dry and souls that cry for water, cool, clear water.
We do have cool, clear water in the region, just not enough of it, apparently, these days. Marty Robbins, by request from Lorraine, on this All Request Friday water edition, as we wind things down with our Friday 4 roundtable. Janice Jim, Julie Callflesh, Tom Galloway with us. Janice, I'll start with you on the end of an era for the CBC. 75 years and no more Hockey Night in Canada. What do you make of the end of the era?
I think it ties in well with some of our theme that corporations are taking over everything. This is a great public institution that was funded with our government, and now it's gone. So it just follows the trend of our public institutions getting sold off to private corporations. Like, I don't watch that much hockey, but it's nice that, Saturday, it's hockey night, like everyone knows. And it was a nice, like, family community thing, or people would get together to watch, and now it's gone forever. So I'm a little bit sad about it, but it's a good reflection of our times that, it's been sold off to Rogers or Sportsnet or whoever owns the rights, and that, we didn't stand up to protect our kind of national, identity. And now people have to pay money to watch hockey, and who knows what channel is going to be on and streaming and all that, right? And all the fees keep going up. And it's a little bit sad.
It is sad for certainly that the national broadcaster won't be able to get the games for quote unquote free through tax-funded broadcasting, the corporation, into those smaller communities for sure. Julie, what do you make of the change?
Well, I don't make much. I watch my hockey locally with the Ravens, but I will say, I think that I was wondering the same things that Janice has now confirmed for me. Like, this is another example of as she said, corporations ruining things. I think that we're in a time where nostalgia is really important because there's just a lot of lousiness out there right now. The news is really hard to watch. Affordability is hitting everybody's lifestyles. It feels really heavy right now. So things like that, theme song and the traditions of sitting around the TV and watching, even if that isn't happening as much as some think, it's just knowing it's there. It's that touch point of comfort. And I think that when you see people reacting to these types of things, it's because they're losing yet another thing. But as Janice said, pay attention to the bigger picture. There's common themes here of why those types of things are happening and why life is a bit harder right now. So, I think it's sad. It's sad when things end. And hopefully it opens the door for something else. Yeah, this one I was like, I don't know what I have to say about it because I don't know how often I've personally tuned in, but I feel for folks who are feeling nostalgic about it.
I think that this nostalgia piece is a really important one here. The familiarity and the loss of it, along with every other thing that we're dealing with, might hurt a little bit more. And yes, I would acknowledge that the royal we, because Rogers is the parent company of this radio station, offered CBC the opportunity, much like it did, because the royal we have owned the rights to hockey for more than a decade now, and CBC was welcome to pay for the rights to broadcast those games. And I guess the price to continue that was a little bit steep. I don't know. I'm not anywhere near those negotiations. But Tom Galloway, I know you're an avid hockey fan. What do you think?
I'm blaming you, Mike.
My exorbitant salary has to be paid. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah.
I think that's it. No, tell me this is not so. Hockey Night in Canada is to hockey like Kleenexes to facial tissue. It's just one and the same. And I grew up on it. I mean, I can remember as a kid, and I'm the oldest on the panel by far. Every Saturday night, crowding around the black and white television, Hockey Night in Canada, Foster Hewitt, and then it carried on and it morphed into different themes and that. But basically, everybody still wore the blue jacket with the hockey stick logo for all those years. So I really lament the loss of it. But it's just another, as Julie and Janice have said, it's just another inching along the way of losing some of our traditions. In this case, I think some Americanization is taking place. Amazon Prime is probably going to snap it up with the big bucks that they can throw around. Already they were getting some games through Sportsnet. And I hated watching those games. They're just not the same thing at all from what I'm used to, but I guess times change. But I do lament the loss of it, particularly in terms of its Canadian identity, because I think there'll be less of that. And I also am worried about who are going to be the advertisers on the replacement program. No doubt a whole bunch of betting sites and other kinds of advertisers who have big, deep pockets to help pay Amazon Prime or whoever to support them, Sportsnet, whatever Sportsnet's going to charge whoever to carry the games. So I do lament it. I think we all saw it coming. The agreements have been getting less and less in length, and now there's no more agreement.
We'll leave it on that note. I thank each of you for not just being generous with your time, as always today, but for dealing with the technical issues at the beginning. Tom Galloway, retired regional councillor, Janice Jim, Vice President, Cycle Waterloo Region, and Julie Callflesh, Director of Fundraising and Communications for Sanguine Health Centre. Thank you again for being here. Enjoy the weekend ahead as well.
Thanks, Mike. Bye now.
Free Phones Friday coming up on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. that talk about sunshine in a song called Rain by the Beatles on this All Request Friday Water edition. That request coming from Mark on the show today. We are into our final hour of the day, of the week here on the program. Fridays at this time, that final hour always marked by free phones. Not the kinds of phones that we give to you for free, but the phone lines that we open freely to you for what we call Free Phones Friday. As many of your phone calls as we can take, as many of your thoughts as we can hear. That's the goal in the final hour. Phone lines are already getting busy. So just a reminder, a little pro tip for you. If you try one line, like if you usually use 519-570-2545 and you can't get through, try one of the others. Star 570, because we still have one of those right now, or 1-800-570-5715. If your usual line is not getting you through, try one of the other ones and you might just find your way in to Free Phones Friday. We'll start with Jersey Bill, Farwell's Force, member number 12. Good afternoon, Billy.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, I just came in from the nice warm weather out there doing some yard work.
Is it actually warm? It has not been warm yet this week, Billy.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I was just exerting myself a bit, but
okay.
I guess it's around 20, which is fine.
That's fine.
Warm
It's
for
fine.
Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't resist talking about the person who probably should receive the mess prize or the making the world garbage prize rather than the peace prize. old Mr. Trump, and now sure enough, he signed it somehow. I guess he signed it with his pen, with his squiggly pen, and sent it off electronically to be signed by the other side. But now supposedly the vice president's not going to go there. And of course there's another Lebanese ceasefire, and that's no laughing matter. But there should be some peace for the civilians in the region, but it just and of course everybody says is that the main thing is he just wants his economic numbers to look good. This war is making his economic numbers look bad, so the war is no longer any good to him, and he's going to walk away from it. And the other thing is, Margaret Hoover, she's taken over from William Buckley in firing line, and I would have to call her a very reasonable conservative. Actually, her husband ran for a Democratic seat for Congress in the last time around. But the thing is that I would like to see her respond when he said, "I don't want to be Herbert Hoover." Well, guess what? He's done two things that ensured not only that the Depression would happen, but that it would lengthen. The first is, of course, putting tariffs on everything. That helped bring about the Depression. And the second thing that kept the Depression from being alleviated is by putting up restrictions to immigration. So you didn't get new blood, you didn't get new economic activity into the country. And of course, he wants to do it reverse. He wants to throw everybody out. But not only is it going to cause economic problems for those people that need those workers, but it's going to be a disincentive to anybody who would even want to come to the country legally. So, yeah, if he doesn't want to be Herbert Hoover, if he doesn't change those two policies, he's well on his way to becoming that. Unfortunately for Hoover, it happened in his first year in office, and it might happen later in Trump's term, but the effects will be no less devastating.
Billy, appreciate the call and the perspective on all things U.S. politics. That's what we get with consistency from Billy. And Ranger Joe, come on, buddy. Be a little more patient. That phone line is still open for you. I wanted to hear your voice, Ranger Joe, but he just dropped off at the last moment. So we'll move on to Tom instead. Good afternoon, Tom. You're on Free Phones Friday.
Good afternoon, Mike. Okay, I'm going to try to be positive here as best as possible. I think that was a great soccer game yesterday by Canada. Fantastic. We couldn't ask for a better result. What else? I'm glad your charity's going well. I have two things that I'm not really impressed with, but Matt Hutchinson? He's a reporter for City. I had an article about affordability for seniors that Connie Cody had sent out. So I'd like to have a conversation with her one day about what affordability is and the reason why seniors.
Well, she's your MP, Tom. Just go give her a call. Have the meeting with her then.
She's an MP that I have tried to contact and had a conversation with, and still no.
Gotcha.
No. don't go. All right, so I'd love to have a conversation with her, and so she'd have about affordability for seniors. And if she's really concerned, put a bill forward that will help seniors out instead of complaining and pointing the finger at the government. And finally, what else is that? What's the news with the Gordie Howe Bridge? Any news on that?
Yeah, it's still closed.
Still closed. Did you hear that the Leafs picked up a defenseman?
Darren Radish.
There we go. Okay, that's a high note. Have a great weekend, Mike. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. Real quick on seniors and affordability. And Matt Hutchison, by the way, does not just write for our website, kitchener.citynews.ca. He's on the air here, usually on the half hour through the show almost every day, just so you know. But I read, I'm going off the top of my head here, but the bottom line is this. Old age security and Canada Pension Plan in this country. Like we blame boomers for lots of things. And in this case, I'm not sure they get a fair rap because how many billions was it? It was many billions of dollars that the federal government could simply reallocate by not providing full old age security and Canada Pension Plan benefits to seniors whose incomes are greater than $180,000 a year. And if you think about it, $180K, you're doing pretty well. So why would you need those additional benefits? And if those benefits were reallocated away from the, I would argue, wealthy seniors already, then we could help lift, I think it was 400,000 seniors out of poverty, whatever the case was. Again, I'm going off the top of my head. The bottom line is we as a country, for whatever reason, are continuing to pay benefits through Canada Pension Plan and old age security to seniors who are very well off. And while we're doing that, we're leaving the less well off. So on the affordability, if Tom is pointing a finger at his federal MP in Cambridge, well, Ms. Cody, there is a great example of a legislative change that could be made because the money is there. You're just allocating it seemingly in the wrong place right now. We'll go to Mark next on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mark.
Mike, on Sunday, is there a ceremonial pitch before the game?
Before the Kitchener Panthers game?
Yeah.
Probably.
Could it be you, Farzi?
I sure hope not. My arm, I couldn't make that throw, Mark.
Throw me a strike.
Throw you a strike, buddy. I don't think I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be throwing anything except my back out.
Okay. But anyway, I'll see you on Sunday, Farzi.
Good. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Be like Mark. See me on Sunday, okay? At the ballpark, we're spending Father's Day with the Kitchener Panthers, and $5 from every ticket sold. Every ticket sold gets donated to the Farwell for Hire fundraising campaign in support of cystic fibrosis research. I can do the math on that, right? Like my good friend, the Hamilton Beer Store guy. Do the math. I've done it. If 200 people show up to the game, that's $1,000. If 400 people show up to the game, that's $2,000. Easiest money I've ever made. I'm just inviting you to a baseball game with me. Let's go. Sunday afternoon, Jack Couch, 2:00 start. Panthers, Baycats, Father's Day at the old ball yard. Great idea. And we're raising money for cystic fibrosis research. Kyle is next. Free Phones Friday. Hello, Kyle.
Did you watch the football match last night?
The who? What now?
The football match?
No.
Against Canada.
I know. See, when you say football, I think of my Pittsburgh Steelers. I did not know. I'll say this much, Kyle. I did not know that you were allowed to score that many goals in a soccer game that Canada scored.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
It's amazing.
I know that you're not a big soccer fan, and I'll be honest, I'm probably not the biggest soccer fan either. My sister and my dad played it. Me, I could care less. I was too busy picking dandelions on the field when I was 5. But Mike, you know what? This is awesome to see. I don't know if you knew this or not, but there's a couple of things. First of all, the main guy that got the hat trick there, he's tied now with Messi for the Golden Boot.
The main guy. You're not even going to name the Canadian soccer star that scored the hat trick. You're just going to call him the main guy.
That's right, because you know what? I've told you I'm not the biggest soccer person in the world. So I'm just like, I love it. And then the second thing I was going to say is we have the record now for the CONCACAF for the biggest goal differential between a team. Did you know that?
Yes, we do.
Buddy.
I know. That's I get you.
But I'll admit I'm not the biggest soccer guy. But Mike, just pay attention, have fun, have a few wobbly pops, and you'll enjoy the game much better like I do. My friend. Have a great weekend. And happy Father's Day, Mike, if I don't catch you on Monday there, my friend.
Thanks, Kyle. Good to hear from you today. Listen, Team Canada, as far as I'm concerned, has already won the World Cup. Not literally in terms of winning the championship, but, I mean, could things have gone any better so far for our team at this World Cup? And the 6 goals yesterday, which, again, I did not know you could score that many in a single soccer game, puts us kind of in the driver's seat in our pool. And how much bigger does that make the game next Wednesday against Switzerland? Oh, yeah. And I bring that up selfishly because of the wonderful things he does next Wednesday at the Research and Tech Park at the University of Waterloo, the David Johnston Research and Tech Park. It's just off Columbia, if you didn't know. Just follow the roads, a little roundabouts. There's going to be an outdoor beer garden Team Canada viewing party. And, oh yeah, it's in support of Farwell for Hire. It could not have worked out any better. This was planned long ago. Now that game takes on added importance. So I invite you to the viewing party. I know there are many. I invite you specifically to this one because we're going to be raising some money for cystic fibrosis research. So how about this? Sunday, Father's Day at Jack Couch with the Kitchener Panthers, right? You enjoy some baseball. You help me raise some money. Next Wednesday, Team Canada, Team Switzerland World Cup viewing party out at the Research and Tech Park. We're going to enjoy some beverages. We're going to have some food. We're going to raise some money for cystic fibrosis research, and we're going to watch Team Canada. And you can teach me about football. There you go. See how this works? Free Phones Friday continues on the Mike Farwell Show. Our phone lines open to you on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Well, these would be the Highwaymen and a song called Michael Rowed the Boat Ashore. It is an all-request Friday, water edition, because we're keeping our eyes and ears on the biggest issue in the news around here these days. Just using our all-request Friday to let regional council know we're paying attention. And when you request it, we play it. We don't always love the selections that you make, but they are yours, and it's an all-request Friday. You make the request, we play it. Devin Robertson, who is the guy on the other side of the glass today, said, this one might not be my favorite, but at least you only have to hear it once, Farwell. I've had to hear it twice, getting it ready to play and then playing it. Here's the funny thing over there, Dev. That song holds a very special place in my heart. Because, and now I can only take this on authority, and I would claim that my mother is a good enough authority, so I take her at her word that this actually happened. I can't be sure because I had literally just come out of her womb. But my mother tells me that the doctor who birthed me at St. Mary's Hospital in Kitchener. I know Ren at Queens Boulevard, but I was born at St. Mary's, okay? Same damn building, different damn name. Pardon my French. If my mother would have washed my mouth out with soap for that when I was a kid. Anyway, my mother tells me that when I was birthed at Ren at Queens Boulevard, the doctor sang that very song upon my arrival. Because, in case you didn't know, my given name is Michael. Don't ever call me Michael. I do not enjoy being called Michael. In fact, only one person can and does call me Michael. And that would be the same mother who told me the story about the song that was sung when I was birthed. I also, by the way, usually go by my last name because I grew up in an era where every other kid was named Mike. So when I was walking down the halls at St. Anne's Elementary School way back when, and somebody shouted out, Mike, 12 of us turned our heads around. And that's just a little too common for my liking. So I just go by Farwell so I can lean on the good family name that my Uncle Jim has set for us all. You see, it's all a part of my master plan. Anyway, there's my story behind Michael rowed the boat ashore, requested by Mary. It's the Highwaymen on your All Request Friday. Fridays also mean free phones to you for our final hour together. And my buddy and yours, Preston Paul, Farwell's Force member number 45, is with us. Hey, Paul.
Good afternoon, Grand Poobah. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm feeling all the Good Friday feels. Thank you. How are you?
No doubt. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Got a couple of things. First of all, kudos to all the songs being played. Farwell Force did a great job. I just love hearing different songs. Even that Michael rowed the boat ashore. I haven't heard that years, but Mike, I heard that when I was a kid. That was a popular song back in the early 60s.
Sure it was.
Whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
I remember I think it'd be sang it in school for crying out loud in one of our, grade 1, 2 or something like that, right?
There you go.
Yeah. But I just wanted to comment. It was a year ago around this time that the Blue Jays started to get hot. So they just took 3 in Boston. So let's hope they go to Chicago this afternoon and start a nice little string here and maybe get on this hot streak again. And we'll have another joyful autumn. Not like the autumn we're having now.
Yeah, no kidding. It feels like autumn outside with this weather, doesn't it?
I know. Well, it's just windy enough and cloudy enough. I'm out here in just shorts. But when a cloud come over, it's like I need a T-shirt. Then I take the T-shirt off and I put it back on. But it's not snowing, so I don't care.
All right, fair enough.
You have a good weekend, Mike.
Thanks, Paul. You too. Good to hear from you. And by all accounts, Vlad Guerrero Jr. starting to take some better swings at that old baseball. Hearing from Preston Paul today makes me think of someone else, and that would be Paul from Preston. 2 different characters. Preston Paul, newer to our show, but Paul from Preston, an old classic and will forever remain number 3 on our Farwell's Force membership list, even though we lost Paul from Preston in the past year. But he was a regular caller to not just this show, but every other show that preceded it, about as loyal a listener as you can ever get to this radio station. And I heard from his son via email earlier this week, and his son is carrying on Paul from Preston's tradition, which is to remind me that when the summer solstice arrives, which it does on Sunday, winter is now coming. Because, on Sunday we have our greatest amount of daylight, and then slowly but surely it starts going in the other direction to that dreaded winter solstice. And I always celebrate the winter solstice by knowing incrementally it starts getting lighter every day after that. So the Paul Robertson family likes to remind me that we are indeed getting closer to winter every day after this coming Sunday. And by the way, just to add to it, not only was it Paul's son's email that got me thinking of him, but all this talk about butter tarts. And Paul from Preston would sometimes stop in Baileyboro at Doodoo's Bakery to pick up butter tarts and bring them back for me. Baileyboro and Doodoo's Bakery is up near Rice Lake, where Paul from Preston would spend some time camping, fishing, hunting, you name it. And my beloved and I are headed that way a little later this summer, and it feels like a fitting tribute, as she is a Prestonian, to another Prestonian, the late but great and fondly remembered Paul from Preston. Free Phones Friday continues on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. come on. Tell me that doesn't take you back to the summers of your youth. And I mean your youth. We were all single digits, weren't we, when that one from Kids Songs was firmly placed in our brains thanks to PBS. We're going to get wet. Water everywhere. Not around here. There ain't no water. Well, I mean, there's some. Just not enough. Io wanted to hear that one on our All Request Friday this afternoon. And it's definitely a song I can get behind and a memory that I will enjoy. Fridays from noon until 1, we open up our phone lines for what we call Free Phones Friday. You can freely take advantage of the platform and share with us your thoughts on the stories of the day, the week, or even your plans for the weekend. It's like social media. If you think we care what you're eating today, then you can tell us about it on Free Phones Friday. Our good friend, Kitchener Cooney, Rob Coon from Environment Canada, must have heard Preston Paul and I complaining about how damn cold it is out there, Cooney.
Oh, I heard it all.
Okay.
Am I back in the doghouse? Are you
Yes.
back in there again?
Yes, 100%.
I get it. I'll be in there again tonight. I'm used to it because you put me in there for like 9 months. Like, boy. So
Well, you put me in winter for 9 months. What do you expect?
Exactly. That's the name of the game. And about this reference to water, you should see our pool. It's full to the brim from all the rain we had.
Oh, for sure.
Anyways, I know you're complaining about cool weather. Officially, 20 to 23 degrees Celsius is acceptable.
It's acceptable according to who?
It's acceptable according to many. It's 20 or better. It's on the cool side of normal, and the normal high now is about 24, 25. So it's okay. Anything beyond 20 during June, July, and or below 20 during June, July, and August into September should be just thrown out. That's not acceptable. I don't like it. 20 is okay. It could be better. But I do, looking in the longer range, just to give you some extra information, I'm expecting we will see some mid to high 20s towards the end of the month. It's going to be cool-ish for the next week. This pattern is very similar to one I remember you may recall faintly way back when, the summer of 1992, which was wet, windy, and cold for almost the whole summer. This jet stream pattern is similar to that now, but the good news is this time it's not going to last for all of July or into August. It looks like it's going to change late this month. And when that happens, back to be getting to, afternoon temperatures of 25 to 29, warm, hazy, humid, stuff like that. And nighttime temperatures probably near 20. So it's coming.
Okay.
You just have to be patient. And I'm not promising 30. I will not promise that. We haven't had a 30 here yet this year, but you never know. Mother Nature could finally give us a few.
Well, I appreciate the optimism looking ahead because I've really started to worry, Rob. I mentioned earlier when I was complaining about the weather, November the 9th, that's when we got our first snow, well before last winter started. And it didn't let up from November the 9th right through a second consecutive tough winter. And then we had the very cool spring, and that's why I kept you in the doghouse because I'm a jerk that way. And I finally let you out when we had a nice run last week of 5, 6. It was many, many days in a row of nice, sunny, warm weather. It was great. But then the minute I let you out of the doghouse, you went and flipped the switch again, and it's been not very nice at all.
Well, we're going to try and flip it back for you so that you get some good weather for your campaign for CF, and I'll do my best. I'm a civil servant, so, your tax dollars, you expect good results, and I'm here to help to deliver.
Don't remind me. So as we're entering summer officially on Sunday, you mentioned that this jet stream pattern that we saw in the summer of 92 is not going to be long-lasting through the summer. Have you got any indication yet, Rob, as to what our summer forecast is looking like?
Personally and professionally, I think once all is said and done, the entire summer temperature is going to come in a little bit above average, but near normal. The total precip, like the total rainfall, I think is going to be above normal. And that being said, we've already had a couple of those dry spells, and the one was almost a drought. I think it's going to be skewed. So we'll get a lot of rain on a few days. Then it'll be dry for like a week or two. And then again, a shot of rain from showers and thunderstorms and stuff like that. But So the total rainfall numbers, I think, will be above normal. That's my opinion for what I'm seeing. But I think there'll be a lot of warm, dry periods, then interspersed by stuff like what we have here, which is, I call this seasonably cool. If it was below 20, like yesterday stunk. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Yesterday was ridiculous and shouldn't be allowed. But at least the next week we're looking for, a spell where it's going to be coolish. And then hopefully we don't get too much rain Monday, but we're keeping an eye on that one. But most of the days will be dry.
What about Sunday? Because we've got the Panthers game. We're going to be outdoors. Can you make sure that we don't get rained out?
I will do my best. I am working all weekend. That's why I can't seem to come to any of your functions. So far, we're involved with working with the FIFA. We're supporting their emergency services and stuff. They have forecasters for their own games. So we've been very busy, and all we supervisors are working a lot of shifts, which I personally like, but sometimes that means weekends. So I'll keep you informed. I'm working tomorrow and Sunday on site, and I think at this point Sunday looks okay, but there is a 30 or 40 pop, so we'll try. What's the time of the game exactly?
2:00.
So like 2 to 5 p.m. You want it to be dry.
I would love that.
I will do my best to see that can happen for you, and I'll keep you informed as to the actual issues going on. But the weekend doesn't look that bad. It's just a bit cool and maybe the odd shower, but I think most of the time it'll be partly sunny.
Cooney, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, too, for all that you do. And do you like gold medal ribbon ice cream? Is that your favorite?
No, garbage can is my favorite. We've been over this.
Oh, so, okay. I thought I misread it because I had a long day moving stuff yesterday, and I was sort of bleary when I read my phone. So
that's okay.
Garbage can is your favorite.
Garbage can is my favorite, but I'll tell you, I've had my share of gold medal ribbon. I mean, it's ice cream. It's got sugar in it. It's one of my favorite things. So
awesome. Well, yeah, maybe we'll try and get a tub of it for you because it's my favorite too. I discovered it when I was a kid.
Good stuff. Thanks, Rob.
Take care, Mike. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Rob Coon from Environment Canada. We call him Kitchener Cooney because he lives right here in our fine city, and he keeps us up to date. And Rob and I, offline, will go back and forth with messages, and I am not kind to him. I am not kind at all. I'm pretty particular. If you've listened to this show for more than a minute, you've heard me bitch and moan about the weather, probably more than you would like. I take it very personally. I just feel like we're at the time of year, especially after such a brutal winter, that, listen, I don't need it to be 36 degrees with a 43 humidex, but I also don't need it to be barely 20 when we're at this time of year after a brutal winter. That's all. I'm just asking for some warmth and some sunshine. Let me cut the lawn on a consistent basis, et cetera, et cetera. On the note of ice cream, one of the other flavors I recently was introduced to was Moon Mist. And Moon Mist has a really interesting backstory here in Ontario because it originated down in Atlantic Canada and it has made its way here west from there into Ontario ice cream shops, including Sweet Caroline's on Ottawa Street in Kitchener. And I'm going to be there tomorrow in the afternoon serving up Moon Mist ice cream and dirty sodas in support of, you guessed it, Farwell for Hire. So there's lots of ways for you to join us this weekend. We've got the KW Escape Rooms tonight. That's on Gage Avenue in Kitchener. We've got Sweet Caroline's tomorrow afternoon on Ottawa Street at Lackner. We've got the Kitchener Panthers game on Sunday. Oh, my goodness. Robert has won our Kitchener Rangers VIP experience for next season. So Robert's going to get the dressing room tour at the Memorial Auditorium. He's going to have a meet and greet with a player. He's going to get some signed merch. He's going to sit in the broadcast booth with me and JP. It's going to be a great time. He is our early bird winner in the Farwell for Hire 50-50 raffle. The jackpot now is, oh my gosh, over $99,000. Take-home prize just under $50,000. Will we get it to $100,000 in that jackpot before the end of the show today in 15 minutes? I bet you we will. $99,350 in there right now. $49,675 is the take-home. You can get tickets at cf5050.ca. And those other things I mentioned, it's just a busy weekend because so many businesses support our fundraising efforts. Please take a moment to check out the Farwell for Hire Facebook page and you can follow along with where we're going to be. It's tasty for you, I hope, a little outing. Maybe take the kids for ice cream on Saturday, take Dad to the ball game on Sunday, take your friends out to do an escape room tonight, and you're doing that and supporting CF Research and Farwell for Hire at the same time. So please check out Farwell for Hire on Facebook. All the details are there. And show up, because I'm going to show up, so we might as well hang out together and raise some money at the same time. Mary is next on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fair to middling.
Fair to middling. All right.
But anyway, I asked for that Michael rode the boat ashore, and you said the doctor who delivered you sang that.
That is correct. So my mother tells me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never had a singing doctor obstetrician.
That's right.
My Lord, that's amazing. Anyway, I just want to let you know, I never pre-named my children because in my day you didn't even know what you were getting. It was just like what's his name? Babies are like a box of cherries, a box of chocolates.
Forrest Gump.
You never know what you're going to get.
I'm with you. Stop with all these gender reveal things. Just have the baby.
Well, that's what we did.
That's what we did.
Yeah, and I never pre-named. And as soon as when I saw them, I looked at them and I said, what does he look like? And my second son looked so angelic. And
you named him Michael, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, because we're angelic.
Archangel Michael.
Listen here.
You've got a lot to hold up, my dear. My dear.
Oh, you remind me of Jerry Harrigan, the ultimate coach. Every time I see him at Kitchener Rangers games, he greets me that way. Michael the Archangel, how are you?
Oh, gosh. Well, you've got a heavy load to bear. But anyway, I'm glad you were named Michael. I think you're doing a good job on your name.
You think I'm living up to it?
I think you are.
I'm trying to keep all the Michaels in this world in line, Mary.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate that.
Thanks for the call today. Good to hear from you. That is Farwell's Force member number 1, because Mary is number 1 in our hearts here on this show. It's the Mike Farwell Show. Free Phones Friday continues. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Another long distance, not alone. You leave me wanting, always leave me wanting more. Last word today, you're coming home to stay. Wouldn't that be nice for a while? But now I take our food is growing cold, and the candles burn a hole in the floor, and I'm still waiting for the rain to fall. It's another rainy night without you.
It is another rainy night by Queensryche on this All Request Friday Water Edition. You could have taken Another Rainy Night from Eddie Rabbit, but we went a different way for Greg, Farwell's Force member number 38, here on the program this afternoon. Free Phones Friday continues, and our good friend David Schooley calls into the show. I always like seeing your name on my screen, David. Hello.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
You know what? It's a terrific day, and you would never guess where I am right now.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. You are at a house. Where? Jack Couch. Okay.
I'm at Jack Couch Park.
That was my first thought, but then I thought, no, you're doing another Farwell for Hire home sale or something.
Yeah, well, you know what? We did one yesterday, and we really have our fingers crossed that the inspection went well this morning for another one.
Good stuff. So Jack Couch Park, where we're going to all be on Sunday for the Farwell for Hire game.
We are. I'm hoping you're coming, right? It's Farwell for Hire.
Of course I'm coming.
Yeah, so we're just scoping out Jack Couch Park because I'm going to see if I can get permission to put up a for sale sign. No, I'm not selling the odd, and we're going to put it out there by our merch stand and have a Farwell for Hire rider on it. That's why I'm at Jack Couch Park. But I just thought I'd call in and just remind everybody that, Father's Day, what a great day, what a great place to be, Jack Couch Park, and watch the Panthers, and let's raise some money for CF.
I absolutely love it. We were talking about it just a few minutes ago. It's a very generous gesture on the part of you and the Hirani family, David. $5 from every ticket sold being donated to the campaign. We're going to run a 50-50, and we want to pack that ballpark. It's a great way to spend time with Dad.
Yeah, and the weather's going to be phenomenal. 23 degrees.
Love it.
Right? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right?
Baseball weather. And you snapped that losing streak last night, scored 23 runs. Let's go.
Yeah, you know what? In reality, I'd like to spread that out over a few games.
I said that to Shanif earlier.
I said that to Shanif earlier as well. But I will take it. It was nice to get past that, and now we can move on to London tonight, and then we will see you on Sunday. So I'm excited to see everybody on Sunday, and we've got the weather, we've got the team, and we do have Mike Farwell out doing work for a great cause.
I love it. I really appreciate the support, all of the support, David, that you and the entire group at Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment give me. So looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thank you.
Yeah, see you soon, Mike.
All right, David. You too. Bye-bye. David Schooley, he's the negotiator. The negotiator gets it done and is one of our tireless supporters of Farwell for Hire fundraising. Jim, you're on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You're good. I'm good. I don't know if you're going to be good after I ask you this, but it's easy. About an hour or so ago, I heard you talking about spinning rides, and I used to have my fair share of not very good experiences on those, so I wanted you to kind of elaborate on what, because you kind of cut yourself off on it, and I wanted to hear about it. I don't know if you can tell us, but it would be kind of fun to hear your experience. You said you had something on a spinning ride.
All right, Jim. I appreciate the call. I am never shy. I sometimes just try, in the interests of decorum, to spare you some of the more gruesome details. But let's just say, and this was a story, we were marking the 75th anniversary of the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. And one of the things that's happening to mark this anniversary, which is this year, May the 24th of 1951, that beautiful building opened. So this is its 75th anniversary year. And one of the things that will happen during the course of this year is they're bringing the Midway back. And we remember this good old COE that was over on the auditorium grounds, right? And I went there as a kid, and I never did well on rides that went round and round. And I got on the Gravitron and thought I was doing okay, but these rides tend to make me nauseous. And I'll let you fill in the rest because, again, in the interests of decorum and polite company, but I got very nauseous after I got off the Gravitron. Took about 90 seconds, and I started to wobble, and then I had to duck in behind another ride. And, well, again, I'll just leave you to fill in the blanks on that one. But that's what happened, Jim. I will always tell you the truth, unvarnished or otherwise, and you'll get the straight goods. If you have a question and I can answer it, I will answer it with honesty. I got to go. We're out of time for another day. Don't forget your Farwell for Hire 50-50 raffle tickets. The jackpot, almost $100,000. You can get them at cf5050.ca. And please follow on Facebook the Farwell for Hire page. We're all over the place this weekend. I would love to see you for some treats or some baseball or some escape room fun. Farwell for Hire on Facebook. My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.